Hello, everybody, and welcome to the yearly and very, very, very late best of 2019 horror film episode of Hidden Horrors You Must Hear. You're probably just only seeing this on YouTube because for some odd reason the WordPress blog kind of went defunct. WordPress changed their shit and we don't know how to operate it. But anyway, Sterling.
Hello, I'm here and I'm alive. For context, this is very late because of my health, primarily. I've just recovered from a month-and-a-half illness and a relapse after that. So I am no longer full of infection. And no, I am alive, so it was not coronavirus. I am here, and we are able to finally bring you this now basically 3-month late episode into yesteryear's, this very just now yesteryear's top 13
Horror movies of 2019.
This will be very fun because it's so timely and
Yes,
people's minds are still on 2019.
Oh, of course. People's minds are still very much on 2019 in the middle of March when we had to deal with coronavirus, Kobe Bryant dying, threat of World War III with Iran. Yeah, everybody's still in 2019. Yay!
Oh man, I'm still shooken up about Kobe though.
That was a surprise fuck up to everybody, man.
Yeah, TMZ was first to cover that. I remember that TMZ was the first article out. Everyone, the whole internet thought it was another hoax.
No,
and then I saw the same thumbnail on KTLA on Facebook, and that's when I knew.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and. Yeah, oh God. Talk about a real
fucking tragedy.
That's a real horror story. I mean, it was like an hour later they announced who was on the helicopter with them.
Oh man.
But so anyway, I don't know about you, but I'm dedicating this episode to him.
All right.
And to his daughter, so because I still need that catharsis out. That was a very hard way to start out the new decade.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, we were all, what's fucked up is like January 1st, I was really hopeful that 2020 was going to bring more positivity and shit.
Yeah.
And people were going to get better. And I started to see a little bit of that. And then the whole month of January was like from fucking hell.
Yeah.
So now everybody's still recovering from fucking January. And now it's now March. So not a good start.
I didn't even have a January.
I know.
I was literally sick 100% of that month. And that was just horrible, and we had this thing rescheduled like twice now.
What's happening now?
I'm glad you're here, James.
I know.
We're doing
it. We're doing it.
Yes.
So, wait. I don't even remember. Last year, who started first?
I don't remember. Should let's just flip a coin?
Yeah.
Screw it.
Wait, I got a quarter.
Oh, I have a treasure trove of cash behind me. Okay.
All right. So,
buckets. Anyway, so.
Who's heads?
I will be heads.
And then I'm tails. All right.
Oh God.
It's spinning.
Why is that so complex?
Sterling, it's you.
Okay, I am first.
So your number 13 horror movie of 2019.
Okay, let's go for it. So, are you ready for my number 13?
Yep.
Okay, my actual number 13 of my list. Tigers Are Not Afraid.
That made 13.
Yes.
Okay.
So, this is a movie I've been looking forward to for 2 years.
Yeah, it
took so long to get here.
It took long. I was hearing about that fucker in like 2017.
I was hearing about it in 2016, but it was like barely releasing outside of this region. I eventually saw it at the Frida, and this was one hell of a kind of adventure movie. It's just crazy. Like, you know what it's about, basically.
I know what it's about.
Just these kids running from this cartel, all of them bound together since their relatives have all been murdered by this same cartel.
People didn't know this is a Mexican horror film.
Yes. This is grade A Mexican horror. It's funny how political leaning the concept is, but the execution goes very light on it. You can really enjoy this just as a human movie. You don't have to know too much about what's currently going on or the real inspirations behind it. This is just a movie with some of the best child acting I've ever seen in my life. Every single performance is amazing. Well, from a horror standpoint, it's very supernatural.
I hear. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I hear it's very Pan's Labyrinth, dark fairy tale like.
It is. It very much feels that way. But instead of kids escaping into their
fantasy world,
it's basically a supernatural presence leaking into theirs and just barely affecting stuff. It's there, but the real horror comes from what that presence kind of brings, in this sense of almost like a tone shift, or tragedy is about to strike now because the wall is bleeding, you know. So it's kind of like a weird kind of ghost movie where the villain's power is like the ability to not just foreshadow but then execute tragedy.
Oh wow.
When it appears, but also it's kind of a warning of saying you do have a chance, but you better go now. I really enjoyed this. It's shot very, very well. The score is great. Everything's great about this. It was just it's my number 13 only because it's one of the films on my list that I can't see myself watching over and over again. It was kind of a one time for me. It was a bit slow at times, but when the action really ramps up and the amazing like City of God style chase sequences and stuff are amazing. I just feel that it's definitely not a movie I'm gonna go out and see all the time or anything.
Is it a downer?
Oh, it's very much a downer.
That's why my wife's from Mexico, and she wants to see it, but she also doesn't want to see it because she knows she's going to be bawling her eyes out.
Oh, you got to be in the mood. This movie doesn't hold back. Yeah, it's like a whole cast of kids, and there's tragedy. You can expect what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just what really hits home is that when something happens, it's when you least expect it.
Okay.
So be in the mood before you see it. Not just for the sake of being into the movies, because again, like I said, the pacing is kind of all over. But also be in the mood because this is sensitive stuff, and a lot of people right now are dealing with it personally. So that is easily though on my list, my number 13.
Okay. Tigers are not afraid, folks. So my James Coker's 13th favorite horror movie of 2019 is a movie that should not fucking exist. This was a movie that surprised everybody. It surprised millennials who knew about it from the 60s, and it pissed off and disillusioned a lot of baby boomers. This had no right to exist, the Banana Splits movie. Or might I say, what the fuck is this? Warner Bros. Took a popular children's show from the 60s that a lot of baby boomers grew up with and turned it into a straight up Five Nights at Freddy's style slasher film with extreme gore in it, and I don't know where the fuck to begin. My father saw the trailer for it and he was just like, what have they done? He had a millennial moment and he said, what have they done to my childhood? And I was like, motherfucker. So but I watched the actual movie over getting over the whole like, holy shit, they actually did this. The movie I'm sorry, I'm coughing, folks. The movie is surprisingly a bit slow at times. It has some pacing issues, but it's surprisingly really fun and has no right to be as mean-spirited and as gory as it should. It's one of those weird horror movies where you're having fun, but the deaths are mean-spirited, but you're still having fun at the same time. And a lot of the gore scenes have this sort of gooey, drippy organness to it that's rarely reminiscent of Lucio Fulci gore films. Plus, the characters are all one-dimensional but fun, and it definitely feels like something made for the Sci-Fi Channel, but better. There's hardly any bad CGI. The actual killer animatronic suits feel fun. It's like if a bad Disneyland ripoff tried to kill people in Lucio Fulci style ways, and it's I had a blast with this one. This is definitely a turn your brain off style slasher film. So
I think those are a rarity now. A lot of slasher films are getting a little too they think they're smarter than they should be.
No,
miss
Banana Splits just gives you what you want.
I miss that Saturday morning killing fun. And
That's what it's like, dude. This is a Saturday morning cartoon turned into a gory slasher film.
yeah, this is just Scooby-Doo if Fred murdered the guy behind the mask and then unmasked him and said, "Oh, it's old man McGinty. He's dead now."
Yes, that's
Well, it solves the mystery and the crime.
yeah. My only complaint story-wise was how this is a spoiler, folks. So I'm letting you know this is going to be a spoiler because my wife always complains, "You guys spoil everything."
Just skip ahead 30 seconds on your Stitcher thing or whatever you use.
But my only complaint story-wise was at the end, one of the animatronics turns good and fights the other one. I was like, that's not needed. Just keep them all evil, okay? Make the threat quadrupled, you know. So other than that, turn your brain off. Simple, straightforward Saturday morning cartoon of a slasher movie with Lucio Fulci style gore effects. I dug it. All right, Sterling, you're 12.
My number 12 is this is a movie I found out about via Letterboxd, and then I was told about it again by James here over a text, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to put that one on my list." So I eventually saw it, and this one paid off. So really quickly, I need to say one thing though.
Yeah.
That 2019 was kind of a low year for me as far as releases happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was struggling at one point to make my list because I was literally including things that like I didn't like this, but I guess it's okay.
You needed to fill up the spaces.
I ended up going out and watching another 10 movies, and I was lucky to see 4 that were incredible.
Out of the 10.
Yes.
Okay.
And so basically, I ended up with 12 movies I really liked this year.
Oh, good.
Which means, yeah, there's always one spot left over somehow. Anyway, this is one that I really like, so thank you for reminding me about this one when you did, because I needed it when the time came. So, Knife Plus Heart is...
I wanted to see this one.
This movie was so... Okay, a lot of movies came out this year that were really stylized and had a lot of kind of a dreamy, in a way, I'm going to go there,
Surreal.
Unneeded neon aesthetic. However, this one used it very well. So this movie, taking place in the porn industry, is basically a Giallo-inspired slasher film with the coolest weapon I've ever seen a slasher use in my life.
Because I know the slasher is all like an S&M clad, gimp-looking guy.
Yes. Which is a perfect way to disguise the identity and make you wonder if it's going to be someone who's appeared in the movie, which I'm not going to confirm or deny. But, yeah, this is a movie about the LGBT porn industry being stalked and murdered by a gimp slasher who uses a switchblade dildo to murder everyone.
The fuck?
It is the coolest thing ever.
He's murdering them with dicks.
Yes. It is like there's a lot of layers to this movie. Anyway, so
one thing I've heard about this movie is I heard the main character is a female director who feels like she's out of it because she feels like she's a lot older. She's a lot older than all of the young stars, and she feels like she's losing everything.
Yes. It's a kind of a spiral movie, and you feel really bad for her, but you start to feel really, really bad for her once all of her talent and eventually her are being stalked, by... You can tell it's some form of industry insider jealousy or something going on.
Yeah.
I won't explain much because it's really worth seeing the story. The story is pretty simple, but it's enjoyable, and you need it to really get the payoff at the end, but
you're saying the style is...
The style is awesome. This is a very Mandy-looking, purplish kind of movie. At times, you got to wait for those movements to happen, but they count. And the actual porn sets they have going on are very like weird, futuristic-looking type stuff. It's stuff you don't actually see in real life, but I really enjoyed the set design a lot. It was a lot of work went into this, and you can tell, just to make it stand out a little bit. And I don't know, this is by far probably my favorite horror film to ever take place in the porn industry.
All right.
Because Serbian film's fucking boring. Anyway, so sacrilege to say that, I know, but I don't know. I fell asleep during it twice. So, it was also 3 a.m. when the first time I saw it. But, so, this movie, please see it. This is, like, one of the biggest sleeper hits in horror of 2019. I don't see enough people talking about it that I know personally. And it's now finally blowing up on VOD.
Well, people can see it easily
America.
if they have Shudder, the Shudder streaming service.
True, that's it.
Which
Yeah,
we got to do a little plug. Only $5 a month, people.
yeah.
You know.
It's this movie's great. Yeah, coolest slasher gimmick in a long time.
Murdering them with dick blade.
Yes.
All right, my 12th favorite horror film of 2019, Sterling, is a horror movie I was looking forward to in late 2018 because I liked the concept, and saw the movie in May, and it had some problems, but I still liked the concept and I liked some of the execution, and that was the gory superhero horror film called Brightburn. What to say about Brightburn? It's basically it's like a fucked up version of Superman. A kid has Superman powers. He's an alien, and instead of turning good, he's basically like any teenage boys. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on with him, and he's angsty. And all of a sudden, he has pretty much Superman powers. And what do you think he does? He starts killing people. You know,
It's like a puberty horror film.
it's a puberty
From
horror
a
film.
superhero standpoint. There's like multiple layers. There's also the layer of him being basically an extraterrestrial sleeper agent.
Yes, he's
But
basically a Saiyan.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Saiyan. Yeah,
If Raditz was sent to Earth,
if
instead of
Raditz was,
Goku.
yeah, exactly. But I was gonna say, if you think about it, not only does this movie, I'm always surprised at the amount of gore in this film, like the jaw rip, the eye lasers out of the guy's head. I'm like, geez, this shows just how dangerous and fucked up Superman could actually be on innocent people.
Yeah. There's one thing I got to say about this movie.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing I'm actually going to agree with some people on the internet about.
Uh-huh.
I was a bit weirded out by how much violence against women is in this movie. It was very much like, wait, okay.
Yeah, the two goriest death scenes happen to men, though.
I don't think it matters though, because it's very much them getting just desserts after trying to do something to him versus the women haven't done really anything.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's
I can
cornering
see
them,
that.
and
yeah, he's kind of cornering them.
He's
Yeah.
frightening and torturing them first, and then killing
But
them.
isn't that
It
also
reminded-
is that also something to say about incels and like shitty teenage boys too?
Oh, this guy was like 12.
Hey,
it's not there yet.
12-year-old boys are 12 to 14-year-old boys are little shitheads. I'm going to tell you that now.
Well, I guess to add to your point, this movie reminded me a little too much of Better Watch Out.
Oh God, I do not like Better Watch Out.
And that's why I felt like this is very much entitled white horny boy is now getting revenge on all the women who won't be with him.
It's basically
And-
entitled white horny 14-year-old boy given fucking Superman powers.
And I felt like that distracted me too much from the cool concept.
Okay, it's understandable.
And that's why I didn't make my list or anything. I just felt like it was kind of a weird accidental agenda that the gun, cousins didn't think about.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought this was a really, really cool idea.
Yeah.
And it sucks that it didn't do well because they're teasing like a villain universe coming.
Yeah.
And so I guess now that's just a Michael Rooker cameo scene. Now it's not an actual.
What's funny is
precursor.
I saw this movie twice. I saw a test screening in January of last year, and the whole Michael Rooker scene and the entire like chicken coop scene wasn't even in that cut.
Huh.
So that was added in.
They were really hoping this was going to take off.
I guess
That's
not,
sad.
sadly.
That's really sad. but yeah, I did like everyone in the movie. There's
oh yeah,
there's multiple characters from The Office in this movie.
Yeah,
And really quick, I just gotta say,
yeah.
I just think it's funny how Roy thought like the pepper spray was bad.
I know. Fucking hell.
He ain't seen nothing yet.
Yes.
Anyway, so
But anyway, what I kind of like about Brightburn was cool concept that takes the idea of Superman and make it a fucking Brightburn, make it a slasher / teenage boy. But I kind of took from the thing is like, imagine this is fucked up to say, Sterling. Brightburn is if you took a movie about a school shooter, and instead of giving him gun, you gave him Superman powers.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
he just didn't get to the school.
He just didn't get to the school. He
Yeah.
just got to everybody in his farmhouse.
Yeah.
Everybody, he got to his family. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And to me, that kind of makes the movie more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that. I kind of like it has that sort of like fucked up incel quality to it.
Yeah.
Which all the while just, again, makes it more uncomfortable and makes it more fucked up. And I'm like, good, if you're going to make a Superman horror film, make it fucked up.
Yeah.
Make it fucked up, so.
You know, I think this is great. They're making Joker and Superman, everyone into incels now. Anyway, so, continuing.
All right, I think I'm going to leave it at that. So, my 12th favorite horror movie 2019 was Brightburn. So, Sterling, you're 11.
Okay. My 11. All right. So, number 11 was a movie that I feel like I was kind of alone about really liking as much as I did. I just had a lot of fun with this, and it was really funny and stupid. And it was a concept that I couldn't really believe at times, but I went with it because everyone in the movie is so charming. So my number 11 is Villains.
I didn't see this one.
I really loved everyone in this movie. Everyone's awesome. So basically, you have Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe
Yeah.
as these like Bonnie and Clyde
Young,
archetype,
Yeah, the young,
millennial Bonnie and Clyde,
Yeah, young criminals.
on the lam, obviously, you know, just looking for their next score, their next hit, and they stumble upon a house and they go to rob it, and then Jeffrey Donovan and shit, I forgot her name.
It's okay. Just keep going.
Happen to be even more insane than they are, basically being like incredibly crafty serial killer minded psychopaths, and
So
then
it's a criminal couple running into a serial killer couple.
and then the criminal couple basically gets captured, drugged, and locked into their basement.
Oh, wow.
Along with another little tiny girl who's been locked up there too.
Oh, wow.
And so now the movie is basically about these two likable villains gaining a heart and wanting to break this little girl out of the basement, expose them to the police in some way, and try to still get away on their own. While trying to find their own benefit in the process. But yeah, it's a really good captivity thriller with a lot of successful comedy thrown in.
Okay, so you're going to have a fun time watching this one.
You're going to have a fun time. I think the chemistry between the two main couple, they're amazing.
Okay.
They're so good together because they're in the middle of them being dick criminals. They have these little moments of this adorable like relationship drama chemistry in which there's like one scene that I love where they're knocking on the door to get into the house. And then Micah Monroe's like doing like she has like a tongue stud, right? And she keeps on doing this like fidget with it, like biting on it and stuff. And then he like turns to her and is like, "I told you stop doing that with your stud. You're gonna wear out your enamel again." And it's like, okay, I keep forgetting. It's like they're like a normal couple, but they're trying to murder people for money. You know, this is great, and you get that the entire movie. And best scene in the movie, by far, the tongue stud comes back in a really, really, you're gonna have to cringe watching it way.
Oh, man. I'm already imagining stuff.
But it's great. And so, yeah, this movie's good. Jeffrey Donovan is one of my favorite villains of the whole year. He's pulling like Hugh Grant Paddington 2 levels.
Okay.
And lastly, I enjoyed the ending. The ending was not... it's half expected, but not enough to the point where you feel like you've seen it before.
Okay.
This was a movie I will see again.
Okay.
This was just too fun. Definitely a movie I would see again only under the pretense of showing people, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
This would be a party movie?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
This is a good party movie for those who you know can handle a movie that's not explosions, but it's more so funny dialogue.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So that was your 11?
Yes, it was.
Cool. My 11 is my 11th favorite horror movie of 2019 is a remake that everybody was not looking forward to. Everybody was like, why would you touch a classic from our childhood? Fuck that. and all of a sudden it surprised the hell out of everybody and had no right to be good, and that's the Child's Play remake. Now, honestly, Chucky was the one figure from my childhood that scared the ever living shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So them doing a remake, I felt this was insultive.
Mm-hmm.
But then, it was announced Aubrey Plaza's in it. I'm like, oh shit, Aubrey. Ooh, okay. My wife's not gonna like that one. Then Mark Hamill was gonna do the voice of Child's Play, so I'm like, okay.
After the pre-screenings,
after I heard the awful
went
test
terribly.
Yeah. So
who did they have before?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but so I just
Google
went
type and talk voice.
So I went in blind, and surprisingly, I had a lot of fun. This had no right to be that fun. It's a far more tech-savvy Chucky. Chucky isn't, spoiler, Chucky isn't evil from an evil serial killer spoiler. He's evil because a disgruntled employee programmed him evil because he got fired.
I love that reimagined origin, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
I love the old Chucky movies, and I will always watch them. But I always thought he had the stupidest origin of any slasher ever.
I know.
A serial killer randomly knows an incantation from where? It never explains this.
I know.
They've had 17 movies to explain it. We never know where Charles Lee Ray learned how to possess people with Satan.
Well, in the first movie, he learned it from that voodoo guy. Don't you remember where he kills the guy with the voodoo doll?
I don't remember.
Okay.
This was I haven't seen the first one since I was 12.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I never liked the first one that much.
It has some good moments. But
I love 3 was always my favorite. I know that's a weird opinion.
Whoa, okay.
I love 3 because it's so fucking stupid.
Anyway, so it's a more tech savvy. It's like pretty much if Chucky had an Amazon Alexa combined and then turned into a slasher. That's what this remake is.
Actually, you know what this really is?
What?
This is rated R Small Soldiers.
Oh my god, it is.
Yeah, this was
rated R Small Soldiers.
This is literally the same origin as Small Soldiers, only with one super bot instead of a whole army of them.
But
and
surprisingly, the death scenes are really they're gory and they're fucked up, but they're campy.
Yeah,
they're the whole lawnmower face on the watermelon death scene was campy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then the buzzsaw with the creepy fucking perverted security guard was really good.
Yes.
The gore is also really intense too because it was from Todd Masters effects. So, but all of a sudden the ending pretty much turns into Dead Alive, where there's multiple fucking killer dolls attacking an entire midnight sale at a retail store and killer teddy bears, and I'm sitting there going this movie just went from a 5 to a 20 really fast.
Yeah.
And super fun. Plus, the Mark Hamill voice of Chucky was very monotone. It was very robotic, but it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. But it still added some personality to it.
Yeah. I really loved how this doll is super attached to Andy. Mm-hmm. And it's killing on his behalf more so than trying to get Andy's body or something.
Yeah.
I found this really believable, and I really loved how they integrated Chucky into this modern Wi-Fi connected world.
Yep.
It was all great, and I thought that Mark Hamill's voice really added some charm to everything, and it, I don't know, I am down with this as the new franchise, honestly.
I'm okay with that too. Yeah. Plus the music from Bear McCreary was really damn good.
Yeah.
The music, he also used actual toy instruments during the music too, which is so fucking fitting for a Child's Play movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, big surprise. Big surprise. Had no right to be that good of a remake. So
go see it for yourself, but especially go see it for Tupac. You need to.
Oh my god, that's an inside joke from the movie. But anyways, yeah, Child's Play remake. Surprisingly super fun, gory, good update, modern day update on the classic, and it's a surprise of a remake.
Yes.
So, Sterling, you were at your 10?
I'm at my 10.
All right.
So, my number 10 was the biggest surprise I saw all year. And I mean that because it's a movie that I think only 10 people have seen. But it's available now on Google Play and everything. I don't even remember what made me want to see it. I saw the poster, and I decided to look up reviews. And then when I saw reviews that were bad, but they described it a certain way, I was like, no, I'm watching this now.
Okay.
Take my money. So my number 10 goes to a very little known slasher film this year. A lot of slashers this year. Called President Evil.
What?
Okay.
What?
This is the most artistic movie I've seen all year. This is the Troma movie that didn't come out this year that I wanted, I think. This is everything. Okay. This is a shot-for-shot remake of Halloween, but with a killer in a Donald Trump mask.
What?
It's every single beat from the 78 Halloween to
Does it
a
take place
T.
on Halloween?
Yes. 100%.
Oh my god.
Only it's a killer in a Donald Trump mask, and everything is changed just slightly enough to go along with a Donald Trump themed agenda, the whole movie.
So is he killing like Mexicans and Muslims?
Well, the main characters, it's a Mexican, a Middle Eastern, and an African.
Oh my god.
And they describe it too, like they're from like they have like very, specific lineage in this movie in which this racist killer is trying to murder all of them.
It's almost as
This
if
movie's
it's
in very
like...
bad taste, but it's very amazing how far they went to do this.
What the fuck?
But basically, there is no Dr. Loomis. Instead, Dr. Loomis is played by this Russian spy who's controlling him and making him murder on his behalf. Like the first scene when you see him, instead of the walk-up scene with Loomis, they're telling him how he escaped the night before, and instead of explaining the backstory between, no, he's dangerous, we need to find him, it's are you saying I had something to do with this? Like there was some collusion. And it's so funny. And the opening scene, he doesn't kill his sister or anything, or his family. He murders his mother, who is Scorchy McDaniels. And so he murders his porn star mother, and then ends up being...
My god, it's like the Trump jokes every single beat.
They're working too. Like I was laughing the whole way because this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but it's amazing how they went through with this at a full feature-length runtime. And all the murders are taken somewhat straight from the movie, with obviously enough liberties to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
It gets to the point where there are some offensive jokes, like jumping borders and stuff with some of the characters, but they're done with like a Looney Tune kind of vibe, so they're stupid. Like, literally, like, the Mexican girl escapes Donald Trump by jumping over a wall and then scaling it, and it's like a dam.
This is a movie my friend Doug would like run
He would
to.
love this movie.
Yeah, Doug would fucking love this movie.
But, yeah, basically, by the end of the movie, every single joke you can think of, from doctors in the hospital having the names of like Bloomberg and shit, and there's literally a Dr. Clinton, and when they talk to her, she just speaks in demonic voices.
Holy shit.
And then she's in one scene, and then
shit.
she never returns again. It's never talked about.
Oh,
but basically,
my
she's...
god, I love that.
This
All
is
right, I'm gonna have to watch this
like,
now.
Dr. Clinton, where'd he go? It's like the stupidest shit. So no one's safe in this movie. This is like it's a very South Park type movie where everyone's bait for being made fun of, and that's what makes it so special. This movie's great. But yeah, no one's seen it. On Letterboxd, it has dirt reviews, so people are staying away. See it. It's worth checking out for the sake of it being different.
Okay.
You'll enjoy it. Okay, James, time for your number 10.
My number 10 is a super low budget horror movie that not a lot of people saw, but when it came out on Shudder 6 months later, everybody was like, "Oh, this is amazing!" And I'm like, "All right." That was the movie called a medieval, low budget horror fantasy fucked up emotional drama called Headhunter.
I haven't even heard of this yet.
Okay, Headhunter is a medieval style horror movie about a man and his daughter who live in the woods, and sadly the man hunts monsters for a living. To protect the kingdom, he hunts monsters.
Cool.
What happens though is, and it's very much like Mandy, it's slow, it really builds the wilderness up and the snow and all that and the landscape through wide shots. It shows the emotions between the daughter and the father, and sadly all that stuff is a flashback. Because then we cut to him in the present time, and his daughter was killed by a monster.
Wow.
Hence why he's now going overboard with killing the monsters. And this movie really utilizes its low budget. What's really cool that the look and the aesthetic is very dark. It's very medieval, but it really utilizes its low budget because you don't see him fight the monsters. You hear him fight the monsters.
Yeah.
And then you hear the growls. You hear the sword fighting. You hear all the blood, and he comes back with a monster's head in his hand, and he spikes it onto the wall, and he's covered in wounds, and he uses this magical black tar algae inside of jars to heal his wounds and stuff, like a fermented weird stuff to heal his charge. And this keeps happening, and it keeps coming to his flashbacks, and it's pretty much him just over getting his revenge for the sake of it.
Okay.
And this happens, and it really just shows the inner torment of this man going through, that he couldn't even save his daughter, and now he just kills monsters for a living, and comes back hurt and heals and just repeats it all. And there's even a scene where he feels distant from even the medieval villagers. Like, the medieval villagers just look at him, and he's just like, oh, that guy's in the corner. So he doesn't even have that. He feels like everything he's doing really doing for himself.
Sure. I can understand that.
Yeah. But what happens, though, is the movie then takes a little bit more of a scary tone, because that black algae stuff bites back at him, and that turns into a monster itself.
Wow.
That turns into what I think is one of the creepiest fucking uses of a puppetry for a monster ever. It's one of the creepiest moments in the film is when he's caught in between this, almost like, think of the most narrow walk-through cavern you can think of that would make you super claustrophobic. You can't even carry anything in there, and the floor is water, and you have very little bit of a torchlight.
Yeah.
And there's this monster in the water that's a pretty much spoiler. It's a creepy head attached to a spine that's moving.
Wow.
And imagine, and it's really fucking creepy. And there's moments of that where it cuts to, it almost feels like Doom, where it cuts to a POV of him, and it's so effective. So I would say this is taking a medieval aesthetic and turning it almost into a monster hunting horror film that's deeply emotional and deeply painful for the character.
Okay.
And the only complaint is, though it makes good use of its low budget, where you see all these different monster heads that he spikes on the walls, I wish you could actually see more monster fights. But of course, they didn't have the budget, so they leave it more to the imagination.
That's cool.
With sound. When I knew you being a sound guy, Sterling, you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Definitely.
My only complaint, though, is that it has a bleak ending.
Okay.
So be wary of that walking in. And this one's available on VOD, guys, and it's also available on Shudder. And you know what the biggest surprise of this movie is? The director, the aesthetic is so beautiful shot, too. And it's a little bit more slow burn. And it's from the director. You're not going to believe this, Sterling. The director of this movie is the guy who did the Thanksgiving movies.
What? No.
Yes. The guy who did the cheesy-ass Thanksgiving movies made this movie.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Which explains the puppetry at the end of the movie, too.
True. Okay.
Yeah. So, Sterling, now you are... Oh, guys, that was Headhunter, available on VOD and Shudder. So, Sterling, you're number 9. We're into the single digits now, folks.
Okay, number 9 on Mr. Sterling's list. Okay, so my number 9 is a movie that I was forced to lie about in person.
I know where this is going. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know exactly where this is going.
I was forced to lie about.
You liar.
Because I have rules, man. I can't talk about certain movies before we do these episodes. So, my number 9 was a movie. Although I lied, I was still baffled that I liked it. Only because it's not the kind of movie I usually go for, especially when it comes...
subgenre you generally don't like.
Well, because I'm over it, you know?
Everybody's over it. Everybody's over that subgenre.
Fine. Okay, so, yeah. The comedy zombie movie, Little Monsters, is my number 9. And the reason why it's number 9 is because after a very slow opening 10-15 minutes, I would say,
Which all it just shows is how bad this couple is, how they're constantly arguing.
And I was really I was dreading the opening thing, like,
is this going to be the whole fucking movie?
Yeah, is this going to be like a horrible family drama where they're all locked in a house?
Yeah, oh god,
Luckily, no, you never see that, the mother again.
Yeah.
But basically, it's just a really cool, field trip.
So the concept is, this guy takes his little nephew out on a school field trip to a zoo that somehow is being hosted by a children's show TV host played by Josh Gad.
Yeah,
and he goes with the main guy goes with the his little nephew, but along the way he's also going just to hit on the little nephew's teacher, played by Lupita. I can never pronounce her last name.
Lupita
Nyong'o, who actually does a damn good job in this movie.
I've never seen her in a movie before.
I know. What?
Anyway, so he's just an opportunist chaperone.
Yeah.
For these kids, and on the field trip, while they're there to do what they're supposed to be doing, it is the worst designed park, recreational area ever, considering what it is right next to. Who designed that?
Yes.
So it's right next to this American government, like, embassy laboratory
testing facility that just so happens to have a zombie breakout.
Yeah, because that's something we need.
Let's put a children's zoo right next to a testing facility.
Was that supposed to be like American bioterrorism or something? Like, what are they doing that for?
I don't.
But yeah, it breaks out, and then, as funny as it is, I was surprised how creepy the zombies actually are.
The zombies are really effective. Yeah,
they're really effective, and the way that, like, how creative they get with the zombies doing certain things was really cool, such as the zombie on the intercom was awesome. I thought, like, the zombies in this certain, like, positions in their industry, like, now, like, like, I don't know, I just thought it was really, really creative.
What's crazy about this film, though, is that the teacher actually uses the zombie thing to her advantage, and she pretty much doesn't. Not only does she keep the kids safe, she's making damn sure that the kids don't realize what's happening.
Yeah, she's saving their sanity.
She's saving
by making everything a game,
making it all just a game of tag, and she's just like, "Follow me, kids! Don't touch the weird people." Yeah,
she plays her Tiny Tim ukulele. And it's really the time in which the fuckhead uncle has to man up and really become, an adult.
An adult, yeah.
And I thought it was a really good story arc for every character, really.
Yeah, and it's very heartful. It's a super heartful zombie film.
It is, and that's kind of why I liked it. I was getting kind of tired of just too much, like, left turn mean-spirited shit.
Yeah, too much, like, all these characters are gonna argue to the point where they all kill each other. I'm like, that's only been done good once, and that was called Night of the Living Dead. Fuck off, everybody. So
yeah.
But my biggest surprise in the movie, too, was how Josh Gad's character makes such a hard left turn into assholeville. It's amazing. Like, he's pretty much telling the kids, fuck off, kids, this is my place, and he's...
There's no reason
time you think he's going to redeem
either.
himself. No, he's a children's show host, and he's, like, totally a fucking dick.
He's an alcoholic dickhead.
Who admits to sleeping with all the moms.
Yeah.
The kids' moms on his show, and it's like, what the fuck?
I mean, the reason why it was so easy to believe my lie, probably, that I hated this.
Because you don't like zombie movies. You generally don't like zombie
No, because of Josh Gad.
True, yeah.
I hate Josh Gad, and this is the first time I've ever liked him in a movie.
Because it's funny how people know him as fucking Olaf from the Frozen movie, and here he is telling kids to literally fuck off from zombies.
Hated him in Wedding Ringer, hated him in Pixels. I mean, it was just like... But then, this was just awesome. This was using him to his actual talent, and using him for this creepy Chris the Clown kind of laugh. I don't know, like, everything's great.
Hey!
All I gotta say right now, though, is that Josh Gad's death scene is my favorite kill.
That's a spoiler,
of
folks.
2019. I'm not gonna say how he dies.
Yeah.
I don't care spoiling he dies. I will never spoil how he dies.
Okay.
You need to see this, because there's no way I'm talking about this movie and not raving about that. That was the most amazing creative thing I've ever seen in a comedy zombie movie.
Yeah.
When it comes to how far they'll go, just to remove someone from the narrative. And anyway, yeah, this movie was fun, and that's about it.
All right, cool.
I don't know what to say.
That was your 9.
Yeah.
All right, my number 9th favorite horror movie of 2019 was a movie that got a little popular on Shudder during Halloween time, but sadly not a lot of people were talking about it. That was a rather very mean-spirited but also dread-inducing Halloween haunt-style slasher. No, it's not Hellfest. It's better than Hellfest, called Haunt. So, Haunt is basically, it's similar to Hellfest, where a bunch of teens go to a haunted house on Halloween, and like Hellfest, the masked scarers are actually killers themselves. So, sorry folks. What I liked about this one, though, is that it really takes its slow pacing to its advantage by slowly building up the dread until the shit actually hits the fan, because what Haunt does so well, though, is it adds that slow building creep and that slow building dread to the point where before the shit hits the fan, you're thinking to yourself, oh, they're not going to go that far. And then when they do go that far, it plays with your head thinking maybe this is all a joke and the victims are really in on it and they're just trying to scare the main girl. And then you realize, oh, wait, no, spoiler, these masked people are actually fucking killing these kids in very brutal ways and very mean-spirited too. One of the ones that really fucked me up was the ghost with the hammer, and then the devil with the pitchfork on the Latina girl. Was like, oh fuck, you know. So it all of a sudden it builds up the creep, it builds up the dread, then it plays with your head a little bit, and then it just kind of sucker punches you with how fucking mean-spirited it gets with the death scenes and the tension. And another big twist at the end is, spoiler, when the masked murderers take off their masks, it's not a surprise, it's more of a, oh, that's fucked up and uncomfortable kind of a reveal. So, but what I did like about the ending to I'm sorry I'm coughing, folks. Something's up in my throat. I'm sorry, Sterling, you're doing the recording. You're like, I fucking hate you right now.
The Zoom hates you.
The Zoom hates you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Zoom. I'm sorry. But the ending to Haunt, the main girl suffers from past trauma, like a lot of brunette final girls. Sorry. That's just a common... Dude, I'm sorry, but like, every fucking 90% of final girls are always brunette white girls who either have past trauma and they learn from the past trauma to get out of the situation, or they're super innocent, shy virgins, and that's why they lived. And I'm kind of fucking tired of that shit, man. Hellfest had that. Haunt had that. I'm like... I'm sorry, can we get like a slutty blonde as the survivor? One time. Just give me one slutty blonde as the survivor. Please, for the love of fucking God, folks. Please. But anyway, well, the final girl at the end...
Not the Comet.
Huh?
Not the Comet.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Not even the fucking Comet.
Yeah.
That girl's totally fucking for money. But anyway, different movie.
That was exaggerated, totally.
Oh, yeah. But
I love that line. Anyway, go ahead.
But I like the ending because it plays with the whole, like, oh, the killer's not dead trope, and there's one killer left, and you think he's going to get his revenge on the girl, but the girl kind of one-ups him too, and it's a good payoff at the end. Mm-hmm. So, okay. Haunt is...
that was a Dread release, right?
No, that was a Shudder release.
Okay.
What were you thinking about?
Extremity or thing. Wait.
That was 2018.
Which film was... I don't know why. I was picturing one of their titles and the covers look the same. Okay.
Yes, Extremity and Haunt are very similar to each other.
Sure.
Extremity was released by Dread Central. Mm-hmm. Haunt was a Shudder release.
Got it.
So, but Haunt is a creepy, dread-inducing, mean-spirited, ugly Halloween set slasher film that I enjoyed, but it's not a Halloween-type movie I'll flock to every year.
Sure.
So, that's my number 9. So, Sterling, you're number 8.
Okay. My number 8. All right. Well, we're taking one more trip back around this way again. So, my number 8 was Banana Splits movie.
All right. Fun movie.
I had too much fun with this. This was a movie as soon as I saw the trailer and it was for real.
Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Why is this a movie?
You're doing this to your IP. This is amazing. Mm-hmm. Because as a kid, I hated them. I hated the theme song, and I thought it was the stupidest show ever.
It's just la la la.
I hated it. But then, B, I thought they were fucking terrifying. You know, it's like I pictured those like 6'5" looking tall things coming over to hug me or something. I'm like, no, get me a gun. You know, and now like when they did this as like a horror movie, I'm just like, this is great. This is everything I ever wanted from these guys, because if they're really villains, it means they'll eventually probably get their just desserts, and I get to see this happen.
So this was almost like a cathartic circle around from your childhood.
Kind of, yes.
All right.
First off, I gotta give major props to my friend Michael Mason, who edited this movie. You did an awesome job, by the way. Considering this was so effective in every way. This was really fun, really funny, but really creepy.
You found it more creepy?
I found it creepy.
Really?
At time. Well, it's creepy in like, okay, not creepy, but it's just fucked up. Like you have like the dog sawing someone in half.
Yes.
And then right after going, ta-da! You know? And I was like, this is fucked up.
It has those like fucked up one-liners after a grisly death scene.
This is right after Isaac Hayes quit South Park and they had to kill Chef off.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
then they just used his sound bites to make episodes just for like until he was dead. You know, this is exactly that. They just use sound bites and shit from like the remake stuff, and then got a voice actor to do all the voices for all of them to fill in the gaps, and just do these fucked up like one-liners of like like he's about to throw someone to their death into you know, and says, "Look, we have another friend." You know, and it's like, oh my god, this is these guys are assholes. Like, I know they're this movie, they're like AI robots, basically.
Yeah, like the Child's Play remake.
But I don't care. They're still assholes. You know, like I feel like they're sentient in a way, and they know what they're doing. But their one-liners is what makes this movie so scary and fucked up, because they're having so much fun killing you.
You know, I would have to say this is a movie that if you saw at like 5 or 6, this would fuck up your entire childhood.
5 or 6?
If you saw this movie as a 5 or 6,
I thought you meant like 5 or 6 p.m.
No. No, like I'm talking like if a 5 or 6-year-old who's in love with like Chuck E. Cheese and Disneyland and all that stuff sees this movie.
Well, wow. I just gotta say, to my friends, their son's a huge Five Nights at Freddy's fan.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't have extreme gore in it,
but he's like 4.
Uh-huh.
And he wants to see this because it looks like Five Nights at Freddy's. So some kids are cool.
Okay.
Anyway, right now I gotta say that one thing I really liked about this movie is that I actually did not have the same problem that you did with this pacing.
Really?
I thought every moment of this movie was great. I loved the family drama chemistry scenes.
Really?
Yes, because
I thought that was a bit tacked on.
I thought, as tacked on as it seems, it worked. I thought that this was a movie that wasn't trying too hard to do it. I thought the actors were believable in it. I thought this wasn't like an overdone angsty teen character. Yeah. This was a teen you can tell he has a heart and he's trying.
Yeah.
I get it. He likes this. I'm going. Yeah. I'll try to make this fun. You know? The kid is like randomly super into this thing way outside of his age range, but you know, he's not an idiot who's like drawn to it. He understands the threat and he's immediately off it.
Yeah.
You know? I love the chemistry between the mom and the asshole boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of perfect. The mom she had a complete survivalist spirit, but also a brain.
Yeah. And
they all recognize red flags and react correctly. They were not stupidly protagonists except for the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Every other character is stupid fodder. But
the YouTube couple was like the stupidest.
Which is great. I loved having them there. It really served every demographic for like modern meets 60s what the fuck.
Yeah.
But the main family, I dug all of their use in this movie because it gave me enough of a break from what was coming for me to get attached to them enough to care about what's going to really happen now.
Yeah.
I liked the layers it presented, and also the fact that the one of the characters becomes good at the end, I was all about that too, because they went full circle with the story. I wanted that payoff from this kid randomly liking one of them, of all four, ends up being the kind of the way they escape. That just served the narrative correctly. If they had wrote that any differently, it would have just been another sci-fi bullshit movie.
Okay.
But this was, as stupid and campy as this idea is, this was grade A writing for this kind of thing. This was way more mature than it needed to be. And I loved that about it. It had...
You say this was a damn good surprise.
Yes, because they had they could have made this a schlocky trauma movie, and no, they made this a very competent and heartfelt family drama with puppets from Hanna Barbera murdering everyone. It was great. And really quick shout out to the actor who plays Stevie. That was great. That human protagonist character on that show who everyone hates.
Yeah.
He was basically the Josh Gad of this movie. And I thought he was awesome as just this literal burnout piece of shit who is being upstaged by these robots. And he knows it. That's so sad. What a depressing life.
I know.
But anyway, this is a movie that eventually, when I find the opportunity, I'm gonna buy this.
Okay. So were you up on my 8?
Yeah.
All right. My 8th favorite horror movie of 2019 was a 90-minute, I think it was 90 minutes, 90-minute episode of Hulu's Into the Dark. And that is what I say is the best and most poignant and most timely and very personal episode of Into the Dark, and that is Gigi Saul Guerrero's, I'm going to say the director's name because she's a badass, Culture Shock.
Really quickly, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
My number 7 is the same thing.
Okay, so this is going to be like a doubleheader for us.
Let's just talk about it.
Oh, both? Okay, so we're both... So his 7 and my 8
Yeah.
is Gigi's Culture Shock.
Yeah.
Now, what can I start with Culture Shock? Culture Shock takes the concept of crossing the border, shows how fucked up it is, shows how scary it is, crossing the border, and it takes the idea of taking these people who want a better life and then putting them in a sort of... How do we say this without spoiling it? Sorry, Gigi. Put it in a sort of Twilight Zone-y VR kind of a nightmare, all in the stank of, we're being more humane to them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a huge departure from pretty much everything else I saw in the series of the same name. And one of the most... This was a really brilliant way to execute this very... often put dreamlike version of this
the American dream.
American, sensationalism.
Yes.
And this fake version of the forefathers that everyone upholds.
Yeah.
And this sense of basically worshiping them like deities.
Yeah.
When they're just people who lived at one point. They were just historical figures, but it's not like you're worshiping like, it's almost like they're worshiping like Lady Columbia or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
but
very weird.
Not only that, what I loved about Culture Shock that Gigi does so well was she... How do we put this? How do I say this? She was brave enough to show how the fucked up things about American culture, but also brave enough to show the fucked up things about Mexican culture.
Yeah.
That was what I was really proud of Gigi for. She showed how hopeless Mexican culture can be. She showed how... There's even a moment... Gigi, I really gotta say thank you for this one. There's a moment where her character, Gigi's cameo character, rejects birth control just because of what the Catholic Church says.
Yeah.
And for me, that's almost as if the movie's saying how Mexico is so entrapped by their own religion, Not only that, but you have the main character have something horrible happen to her from her machismo boyfriend, so that's another comment on Mexican culture.
Yes. And
it shows how fucked up crossing the border is with coyotes and how they take advantage and all that stuff too.
Yeah, this movie was what I loved was that this was 2 movies in one.
It was.
And
it was.
I just love how her set design that she was able to get across in her vision really gave the greatest contrast. I've seen, not only tone wise, but general environmentally wise. It really pays off when you have one half of the film being, a gritty, very gritty, dark, literally dark, pretty much lamb on the lamb run adventure movie. It feels like El Norte as a horror thriller, and then you get to the other half, which is completely 180. It's now you're like some BioShock Infinite looking.
Yeah,
like,
you're in this like fucked up, nightmarish Twilight Zone pastel colored version of the Americana. Just gets under your skin.
Just happily oversaturate everything. Make sure there's apple pie on everyone's counter just because,
everybody
and celebrate the
happy.
hot dog for days.
Yeah, and Barbara Crampton does such a creepy job too.
She knocked it out. Oh yeah, so good. I thought Sean Ashmore did great. I wish I could see him more often. Stuff I always thought.
The main girl, I forget her name. I'm sorry, Gigi, and I'm sorry for my wife, who's probably gonna get pissed off that I'm forgetting the main actress's name. I'm sorry. She did a great job. She had such a range during this film too.
She was phenomenal.
Oh my god! Yeah.
My favorite though, by far, was the super badass guy that crosses with them.
Yeah.
That silent, tattooed.
Yeah.
Asshole guy who
the guy with a very shady past.
Yeah, who ends up being as soon as they cross over, the 180 you see once things happen. That was like the whole audience of all 600 seats were just bawling. Oh yeah, well, in laughter.
We were grateful that Gigi invited us to the premiere at the Hollywood Egyptian Theater, in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and it was a packed theater, and like that was I felt honored. Thank you.
No, that was once again that's another awesome premiere there, and that was one hell of a way to start to really kick off Etheria that year.
Oh yeah.
So not just Gigi, but the entire production behind Etheria did a fantastic job. Stacy and Heidi, of course, leading that charge. But my God,
it was a good showing, and it was a damn good film.
Damn good, and
Gigi, you knocked it right the fuck out of the park.
Easily one of the most artistic films I saw all year. And considering this was a tough year for me, this was the first horror film I saw in 2019 that was like instantly like, this shit's a classic.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing.
This should be watched by everybody.
I've seen nothing like this before in this concept. This is awesome. So, yeah, that was easily on the list from the get-go.
Oh yeah.
Even before the second half started, I was just like, this is great.
Honestly, I mean, I haven't seen Pilgrim yet from Into the Dark, and everybody's saying Pilgrim's really good, but probably Culture Shock's one of the best episodes of that whole damn series.
From everything I've seen, it's the best.
Probably the best.
It's the best. Probably the best. I have no problem saying that. It is the best. Not that I'm not knocking the other episodes
series,
or anything.
which
I'm just saying this is, for me, like, not objectively, this is the best. I wholeheartedly believe that. It's my opinion.
All right.
And I think that more people should definitely see this, especially those who, others who thought there could be more to get out of 2019 cinema. That is it. So.
And quite a fucking statement on both sides that Gigi makes for it. So,
especially considering I won't say anything, but the ending of the film, that almost put a tear to my eye.
I thought, dude, my eyes were watering. My eyes were watering during the ending of that movie.
The ending was surprising, but so fucking touching.
Yeah, it was.
And that was what solidified it as a classic to me, was how she chose to end that movie, and that was like, fuck yeah, that's the ballsy shit we need more of now.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my 7.
Okay, and that was my 8. So it would have traditionally... Yeah, I would go to my 7, because it would traditionally go my 8, then your 7, then my 7. So we're up to my 7 now. My 7 is... Hold on, I'm looking at my list. I'm sorry, guys.
Yep.
Okay. My 7 is a movie that... The concept should not have been in theaters. The concept should have been either direct-to-video or a sci-fi channel. But this was surprisingly a big budget movie from a big studio and was directed by an established horror director, Alexandria La. That is the Gator movie Crawl.
Okay, you gotta really defend this one to me now. This is the one on your list that I will never agree with you on. Because I'm just like, this was the Meg of 2019.
Hold up.
Why was anyone excited for this? Why was anyone looking forward to this?
Let me show some positivity to Crawl.
How?
Okay. No,
Where
let
was
me,
it?
Let me
I went
finish.
all through those basements and waterways. I couldn't find any.
Okay, hold up.
All its gray palette.
I had a lot of fun with Crawl. Okay, Crawl was just a point A to point B thrill ride that you're on the edge of your
point
seat.
A to point B A, point B B.
Okay, hold up. Hold up.
Like, where's it
I
end?
had a lot of fun with this movie because there's a lot of tension. You feel for the two characters. Every single time you think those characters are out of the way from the multitude of killer gators out there, the killer gators show up and fuck things up again. So you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, are these people going to catch a break from these gators? Good Lord. Plus, some of the gator attack scenes are really fun. When that like family of looters gets their shit fucked up from the gators in the flooded gas station, I loved that moment. I loved it. Okay? Plus, I took a friend to see the movie, and the friend, I counted. I had such fun with this. Maybe it was taking the friend out to the movie, which made it more fun. But the friend jumped 8 times in the movie. 8 times.
Well, dude, fake-looking alligators are scary.
Oh, okay, I'll admit
It's the worst CGI
the
ever.
CGI in some of the gators were pretty bad. I'll give you that one. All right, but you know what? Crawl was a super fun gator horror film. That is kind of a blast. But it's also, guys, it's also a turn your brain off gator movie. Like most gator horror films, it's definitely a turn your brain off movie, though. All right, Sterling. Start your tirade. Take it away.
Okay, let's crawl away from that shit. Okay, so. Okay.
So you're just gonna go to your next one. Okay, you're not gonna start the shitting. Okay.
Well, what do I say about it? It's not a movie. Anyway, so
Right.
I mean, okay,
let's get
fine.
to it.
I'll go for it. Okay, Crawl is bad.
All right.
Okay,
Just gonna leave it simple.
I mean, Crawl is. I was so bored during every scene in this movie.
Bored?
Well, because the concept is like, I don't really care. This movie made me not care about any of these characters yet. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, we're already fighting gators. Okay, well I guess I'm just gonna have to watch these fake-looking alligators swim around and not leave them alone. Oh great, they escaped. The movie's gonna end in a high point. Oh wait, no, there's still half the movie left.
Okay, that movie did have like 4 different fucking endings to it.
Yeah.
So
I just thought, to me, this is just like Super Gator, Super Croc, and Meg and all that. It's just like, people are so excited for these, and then they see them, and then more than half the people are just like, that wasn't that good. It's like, duh! But, okay, I get it. It's fun. It's fun, turn your brain off stuff. I wasn't able to do that. I tried. I couldn't. I was too cringy. I was cringing in this movie. Like, it was so... What the fuck? I mean... Okay. I'm sorry, James.
Okay,
this is the only one on your list.
This is the only one we're going to highly disagree on. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Highly.
Okay.
Astronomically disagree on.
All right.
In no way did I find that... How can that be better than Into the...
Thank God I never told you how much I love Inherent Vice. So, but anyways.
There's no way you can like that more than Culture Shock. Okay, anyway. So,
I did.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
You're 6.
Okay.
So we're getting close to the top 5, folks.
I can deal with you liking an Inherent Vice, though.
Okay.
Not Crawl. Anyway, so.
Okay.
So. Okay, I'm 6?
Your 7 was Culture Shock, wasn't it?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, your 7 was Culture Shock. My 7 was Crawl, so now it's up to your 6.
Okay, so here is why I needed to go on that rant.
Okay.
Because I need to give you something to rant with me about.
Okay.
So, my number 6, by far, easily, fucking loved this movie in every way. Happy Death Day to You is my number 6. of the fucking year.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope.
Are you fucking... Wait, hold up. Are you telling me that we both hated the exposition of Us, but you're gonna sit there and defend the fucking exposition of Happy Death Day, too?
Yes, because...
Are you
No,
goddamn
no.
kidding me?
Here's the deal.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Here's the deal. Us...
I'm like rubbing my eyes. Like,
Yeah.
how do you just, like, fucking shit all over Crawl for being dumb, but then like all the stupid shit in Happy Death Day too? All right, take it away.
Because we need some banter here. We're agreeing too much today. Okay, so here's the deal. The thing I loved about this is that it decided to go from its maybe like, 7 out of 10 weirdo, like what the fuck's going on in this movie kind of level, to 13 out of 10.
Okay.
And I like that. I like movies that start to shit all over itself to the point where we don't care anymore. We know this is dumb, and this worked the first time. We're going to do one more and then end it all. There's no plan. They're not making any third, so it's done. They already confirmed that. They wanted to go out as stupid as possible to the point of even making fun of Marvel movies by the after credits scene. This is something that I just loved how dumb it gets. It becomes a comedy halfway through and stays that way until the end. And I love it. This self-referential, making fun of oneself humor, that's what I want more of. When you know how stupid your concept was the first time, but you didn't really embrace it because you didn't know what it was going to be, then it was a surprise hit, but you had no plans on making a second one. And now it's like, fuck it. Fuck, you want a second one? Here you go. And then they literally do this to basically troll everyone.
It's the Gremlins 2.
Yes.
It's Gremlins 2.
This was a troll movie. This was to troll the audience that liked the first one and realized, how dumb it was, right? Why do you want a second one? I wasn't planning on doing that. This was
Christopher
this was
Landon
a mistake.
pretty much did what Joe Dante did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I loved it.
You're all fucking stupid for wanting the second one. Here you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened. And he literally did an after credit scene to build like some giant like multi-dimensional like space exploration kind of bullshit. Like how we went from dorm girl dying and being resurrected to Nick Fury recruiting them for a government project to go fight Cthulhu or some shit. And now he's giving you blue balls. I'm done. No third. And I'm like, that's awesome. I love movies that piss people off more than anything else in this world. Hectic Knife's the greatest thing. Freddy Got Finger's the greatest thing. Greasy Strangler's the greatest thing.
Okay,
Happy Death Day to You is one of my favorite things of this year.
Highly on Greasy Strangler and Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah.
But all right.
Yeah. That's
you
why I
defended,
like this.
You mostly successfully defended Happy Death Day.
I don't give a shit if I didn't. All I know is that's my opinion, and no one can take that from me.
All right.
So
all right. That's your 6.
Yes, that is my 6.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna jump.
Come on,
to my
Twitter
6.
boy, don't be triggered.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not gonna fall into that Twitter mode. I'm just gonna let you have your thing.
Don't worry, you'll get there. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, when we get to the lighthouse, it's gonna go Twitter. But anyway, my number 6 was a movie that sadly a lot of people praised out of film festivals, and then the distributor decided to release it like 2 weeks before the new year in December.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, which means it's like, oh, nobody's gonna fucking see this.
Yeah.
And that was Adam Egypt Mortimer.
Uh-huh.
Is that him?
Yeah.
That was Daniel Isn't Real.
Yeah.
Daniel Isn't Real. Which is, I wanted to put in my top 5, but I'm putting it in my top 6 because I felt it had some weird flow issues.
I thought it had some major pacing.
Yeah, it had major flow issues.
Yeah.
But just to get that out of the way, Daniel Isn't Real is pretty much a much more uncomfortable, like, imaginary friend who's way more fucked up kind of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine a imaginary friend type film, but the imaginary friend comes back when the guy is in college and just trying to like stay clear from his fucked up mom and hopefully like meet a girl and stuff. But the imaginary friend comes back and then it takes this more like almost, I would say, think Clive Barker meets Lovecraft meets Cronenberg turn. And it gets creepier, it gets scarier. There's scenes where the main character goes inside of his own mind into this fucked up Clive Barker-esque world.
Yeah.
The character, the imaginary friend of Daniel, played by one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's sons, actually does a terrific job in this
Little
movie.
Patrick.
Little Patrick, yeah, Patrick Schwarzenegger does a terrifically menacing job as Daniel in this film, and his real form looks so Clive Barker-esque. I kind of loved it. And there's this merging scene that's like, what the fuck is happening in this film? But
Like that one little scene already shows up, the Thing prequel.
oh yeah, I'm like, oh, what the fuck, so
It's a shame they did that to the movie and no
they
one really
released
got to
it
see
in December and nobody saw it.
No one got to see it on the big screen at least.
The only one got to see it were film festival people, South by Southwest, a
That
few
was
other ones.
it, and it was mainly, it was getting a lot of hype.
Oh yeah,
But by the time its run ended, it already had hype, and then they did nothing with that.
they did not. Yeah, that's such a shame.
So sad.
For
Because I heard about this movie so much by so many people,
so much,
and then it kind of just eventually came out on VOD.
yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? That should have came out bigger. But no, Daniel isn't real. Honestly, the only thing I had a problem with Daniel isn't real was I saw the ending coming a mile away.
Sure.
Yeah, like I saw that ending coming and I was like, come on, guys, you could have ended that a little differently.
I really wanted the ending to be different.
Yeah, right?
Meaning, like, I didn't like the ending.
No, that ending's cliche as fuck.
It's cliche, but also, I don't like this. I don't like it when endings are like, there's no way you can change this.
I know.
This is how it is. And it's bleak for the sake of being bleak.
Bleak, yeah.
And it's like, I like the idea of tradition being broken by the main character taking a sacrifice play.
Yeah.
Or doing something crazy to break a cycle.
Yeah.
This does nothing.
No.
This is just like it makes everything you just saw feel meaningless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
like,
know?
what was the point? That's my.
Yeah.
But I did like how the film has this very strong message about mental illness.
Yeah.
And how, you know what I kind of liked about, and I find this on a personal level, it almost has this message at times where you think therapy can help, but actually therapy can make things worse.
Yeah.
Which, personally, I've experienced that recently, and I'm like, oh yeah, therapy can actually make things worse. That's fucked up. But yeah, I like this message about mental illness.
Just always look up the psychiatrist suicide rates.
Yeah, I know.
They kill themselves more than any other profession.
Which doesn't even make any sense. I was like, motherfucker, look at your notes. Look at your notes. But
apparently that's what does it for them. It's like,
I know. So
man, I've spent all year hearing all these depressing stories. I'm just gonna kill myself now.
Yeah, I know.
It's like.
Yeah, but no, it has a message about mental illness. It has a message about, like, having a crazy parent that you want to get away from because you're worried you're going to inherit their craziness, which I actually have a crazy...
That was one of the scariest things about the movie. I mean...
That really affected me because it's like, my mom is fucking crazy. So that scares the shit out of me, too. I'm surprised I haven't put this movie higher. But oh well, But yeah, no, Daniel Isn't Real is a movie you all should check out because it's...
It's a great concept, marred by a couple pacing issues.
And a bad ending.
Yeah, but...
Everything else is bang.
Yeah.
Everything else
great
production.
Slaps. I love the house design, the coloring. It's all great.
The Clive Barker meets Cronenberg, a little bit of Cronenberg with Lovecraftian aesthetic. I was like, oh yeah, good stuff. Yeah, Daniel Isn't Real. Yeah. One of the unsung gems of last year.
Yes.
So Sterling, you just did your 6, right?
I did my 6. I'm on 5.
Well, we're up to the top 5.
5, and now this is a fair game. We have no clue what's going on here.
Okay, yeah, no. So we're up to our top 5. So Sterling,
we should give context that we actually gave each other our 13 through 6s.
We did because Sterling was sick. I was like, Sterling, you got to give me something to think about while I'm like at my factory job. So I asked Sterling what was his 13 through 7, and he gave me the list. I'm like, oh, that cool, but he didn't tell me why. And I'm like, all right. So then I got him my 13, just something to think about. But now we are both blind.
Okay, my number 5.
All right. You listen. If you put The Lighthouse on there, I won't be angry. Okay. I won't be angry.
Are you ready for my number 5?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it, man.
Number 5 of the whole year in horror for Sterling.
Yeah, 2019.
The Dead Don't Die.
Well. Surprise, surprise. The Jim Jarmusch zombie film that everybody hated.
This was the one movie I went into expecting to hate no matter what.
Okay.
Because I stupidly was just listening to people besides my own opinion and it made me go in a negative attitude, and then I had to kind of watch it twice to like it.
Okay.
Because I infected myself with stupid letterbox Twitter disease.
You already had that hate in your mind.
That's so toxic to have.
That is.
You should go in blank, and if you like it, you like it.
Make your own opinion.
If you're in the majority, you're in the majority. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know? And
so Jim Jarmusch's comedic zombie movie.
I mean, we'll put quotes around comedic. I get it. But basically, from everything I heard was that this was Jim Jarmusch outside of his immediate comfort zone and was trying to do a little too much than he's used to. This is his highest budget movie ever made, and I get it. A lot of that went to the cast, of course, but when I saw the narrative flow and how he writes and the general execution, aside from the bevy of effects and extra almost Wes Anderson level casting going on.
But at the same time, I really liked how he brought back cemetery zombies.
I gotta finish my one point.
Yeah.
Aside from all that, this was a Jim Jarmusch movie. This was it. And what I realized what happened. This was the first time ever that Jim Jarmusch had a marketing game this big for any of his films. This was 90% of the world's first Jim Jarmusch movie.
Oh.
This was not Jim Jarmusch's best movie at all.
Yeah.
This isn't even top 10. But this was how everyone found out about this because it was the first time one of his movies had televised commercials. That never happened before. Broken Flowers didn't have it, even with Bill Murray. I like
Broken Flowers.
I love Broken Flowers, but that didn't have big marketing. Focus Features doesn't pull that much, you know? No. They put trailers in indie films, but you have to go to like Hillcrest Cinemas to see that.
Yep.
You know, he's not had any big re-releases of his classic stuff, you know? Even Lovers Left Alone did not have a big marketing campaign.
Yeah.
People found out about that because they knew who Jim Jarmusch was. This was everyone's introduction to him, and I think that was the worst movie to start with because this really is a little outside his normal. He doesn't do horror movies. He's done 2 movies featuring horror things.
Yeah,
they're not fully horror for the sake of horror. They're horror lending itself to his own version of basically philosophical rhetoric. He makes philosophical movies like Richard Linklater does.
Yeah.
But dresses it in a certain coating.
Mm-hmm.
And this, you know, I found this to be just enjoyable because I like his movies. Because I felt at home with his stuff. I'll admit I'm one of the few who is able to do that because I've seen his movies, so I know what to expect if it's correct. And so I was able to go with it because I like his stuff. You know?
Yeah.
And I generally enjoyed a lot, but here's why. The secret about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's very self-referential for his whole career.
It's meta?
Yeah.
Okay.
When Iggy Pop... Not really a spoiler.
It's in the trailer.
When Iggy Pop breaks into the diner... And after he does his thing, he sees coffee, goes, coffee, grabs it, and then smashes the pots.
There's an Iggy Pop zombie in the movie.
That's from Coffee and Cigarettes.
Yeah.
Iggy Pop was in that. And then you have characters kind of reprising characters that they played before, but different names, different, you know.
Almost. So this way, are you telling me that this is like an advanced Jim Jarmusch because you need like other Jim Jarmusch movies as a prerequisite?
You need spark notes for this.
Oh, otherwise, so this is like watching a Jodorowsky film. You need spark notes.
He adds layers, but the layers are kind of necessary to really like it.
Okay.
And so, whenever someone hates this movie, I'm gonna completely level with them and say, I get it, man. This is a movie that he meant people who know him to watch.
Okay.
But they overdid it on the marketing. Everyone saw it, didn't like it, and now they assume he sucks. And that's the worst thing ever. You know? Because he's not underground or anything, but, you know, it sucks when a filmmaker is damned to future hell because one movie is what people now have to think about him for.
Yeah, exactly.
That sucks. And basically, yeah, I like his quirkiness. I was dying in laughter only in one scene, and it was the several wild animals scene. Okay. I just couldn't stop because I even expected it the third time, and I still was laughing because it was just like so stupid. When they eventually release this on Criterion, I really hope that the cover is just several wild animals all over the place. Anyway, and then lastly, yeah, there's one thing about this movie that is terrible though, absolutely fucking god awful, and I can't forgive it. That is the way overdone message on global warming. It's mainly because of Tom Waits' character monologuing the ending scene, which I won't give away what it is, but he's basically monologuing a big Greenpeace message, but we get it. Like, we got it the whole time. He pulls a Jordan Peele in Us, and he won't shut up. And like, dude, we get it. We just saw the whole movie.
Yeah.
This is an allegory for, like, his version of the comet that created zombies and Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Is polar fracking.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny. It's
very Larry Fessenden of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey-oh. He was in there. Yeah, like, I was just kind of like,
was that needed?
Stop writing. Just stop. You know?
It's time to stop.
Like, we get it. Also, last thing I'm going to say, and then we'll go on. When I saw that one scene with Bill Murray, Adam Driver, Selena Gomez, and Larry Fessenden together talking, I was thinking, what the fuck's happening? What's going on? And then I screen capped it. So I could, like, this happened once.
Yes.
This is the most random assortment of people I've ever seen.
These four were in a scene.
Yes.
A legendary comedian, an up-and-coming really good actor,
yes.
a pop icon, and an icon to indie horror are in the same scene together.
Yeah.
What kind of a fucking lineup is that?
Yeah. So, I guess bucket list item I never knew I had. Okay.
You know, regardless of the people who don't like the movie, Jim Jarmusch did that. He got those four in a scene together.
Yeah. By the way, I am still down to do a black and white cut of that movie.
Yeah,
like
I
you
would
brought
love
up.
because it's one of the few zombie movies within like the last goddamn 20 years where the zombies are out of the cemetery. We don't get that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, because it's a cemetery zombie movie, we should do a black and white cut of this.
I think that'd be cool. Just for an option.
Just for an option. You can watch a monochrome black and white version of it.
Yeah.
So
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So
Dead Don't Die. Would you say that was the most underrated horror movie of 2019?
I think it's the most misunderstood.
Okay.
Underrated? I don't think so. I think there's more.
Okay.
But misunderstood by far, only because it's really hurting a guy's career right now, and that sucks.
All right. My number fifth horror film of 2019 was a big release in August. It was a
Coolio.
Yeah, big release in August. It was a big budget film. Guillermo del Toro was producing it, but if you watch the special features, he was actually shadow directing it, and you can tell.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he's totally
way.
shadow directs it.
Oh god. Was it as bad as Spielberg on Poltergeist?
No.
Okay,
not as bad. But that is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I had the first time I watched this movie, I thought it was good. It wasn't great. It all changed the second time around.
I need to see it again.
You need to see it a second time.
I feel like there's stuff I didn't get out of it the first time I saw it.
You need to watch it a second.
I was too distracted by things.
The second time is the big decider for this film.
Okay.
But this movie not only is, it's several stories from the classic books, and yes, you can praise how the monsters in it look exactly like the Stephen Gamel artwork from the book, but what I loved about this film is not only is it a terrific Halloween movie, and it really encapsulates that sort of 1960s tension of the time with Vietnam, the racism, the Nixon thing, all that. It encapsulates that. But it's like, even the director said this. He said it's an amicus horror anthology, all told as kind of one story, and in a small town. And looking back at it, the way the monsters look, Harold the Scarecrow, that fucking nightmare woman in the red light that I fucking hated and actually scared the shit out of me, the missing toe ghoul woman. I'm going to say this now, This is a Tales from the Crypt Presents movie for kids.
That's a good way to put it.
It's so goddamn ghoulish, and there's actual threats involved, and it has that Halloween spooky look to it too. That it's like, this is the greatest Tales from the Crypt Presents movie that's not an actual Tales from the Crypt Presents film. And it's made for like 8 to 12-year-olds. It's fucking amazing. So
yeah, it was pretty hardcore at times.
Yeah.
Like, it's very graphic.
yeah, and for a kid's horror film,
It just
like,
shows how
holy shit.
bullshit the MPAA really is.
Yeah.
Because, like, why were they making all that like, this would have been R in 1999.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But, yeah, like, you know, like, there was a couple weird things that were tough for me to get past the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Mainly it was... There's a lot of practical effects in this, and I love that.
Oh yeah.
But whenever they use CGI, it's not
You can tell.
good.
You can tell when the CGI
There's a scene
comes.
with a kid turning into a scarecrow, and it looks like photos.
It's
it looks
graphic and it's ghoulish and it's nightmarish, but
it looks like Photoshop spray ink.
yeah, kind of.
And I just think they could have benefited from a little more maybe real life prosthetic.
Yeah.
But you know, just those are few and far between because there's a lot of practical, and a lot of people think it's all CGI.
No.
But look online, people really think it's all CGI.
No, it's not.
But
God, the monsters are so good.
Monsters are really good,
and there's so many different monsters in it. It's a Monster Mash film.
I think one thing is that I really still want to see the version of this that's an anthology, though.
Okay.
This kind of did feel like Goosebumps 3 to me.
Yeah.
And
somebody I knew described it as like a much more darker Goosebumps movie.
I mean, basically that's what it is. That's all it really is. It's
you know, the story is coming to life.
It's
kind of
Goosebumps,
thing.
but people can die.
Yes.
It's Goosebumps with mortality. But I just thought it's not that it detracts from much, because it still succeeds in what it's doing. I just want to see that version of kids reading the book, and then it goes into that story, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want because you're not held down by the overarching narrative.
Yeah.
I want to see that free version. You know, if they make a part 2 and use all the story that they didn't get to.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know,
that would be amazing. But this was fine. You know, I'm sick. I'm a little sick of the Goosebumps style narrative. I want to see that kind of like, okay, it's a Monster Mash amalgamate. I get it, but you're not able to focus much on either or.
Yeah.
Unless it's the first Goosebumps movie and then it's all praying mantis. But
oh, come on.
Oh my god,
5 years later, we're still having this argument. But anyways, guys, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty much a Tales from the Crypt Presents movie for preteens.
Yeah,
it's ghoulish, it's nightmarish, it's spooky, Halloweeny,
Halloweenish,
Halloweenish. You know, Halloweeny. You know, there's actual stakes involved. The threats are real for the characters. And it's like the Goosebumps movie, but far more threatening and far more darker. So, yeah, I had a blast. It's so much better the second time around, Sterling. It really is. All right, yeah, Scary Stories in the Dark. So, Sterling, we're up to year 4.
We are.
Ooh, all right.
Okay, now we're getting crazy. Okay. Oh, man, this was a movie that was a long time coming.
Is this one that we had to wait like 3 or 4 years for?
No, it's one we had to wait 1 whole year for.
All right.
Okay, so this is one that I'm glad I finally got to see. It's one that I missed every screening of that I had a chance to go to, for different reasons. And then once I had the chance to see it, I chose fuck that, because I'm not going to watch the bootleg.
All right.
So I waited until the actual release of this movie, which was January of 2019. Public release, I mean. So my number 4, I'm so happy to say, finally having seen it, is One Cut of the Dead. I'm so happy I finally got to see this in the way I'm supposed to. I was not going to watch that Amazon bootleg. That didn't count as a release.
That really fucked over the movie.
That was 2018.
December 2018.
So I did not count it as a 2018 movie.
No.
This is a 2019 movie. I want the real version. So I got the Shudder version and everything. So, Jesus Christ.
Okay, I watched this movie too, and you have to describe the plot that the audience sees in the first 10 minutes.
No.
All right, and then...
I'm not describing shit.
Okay, all right.
Hey, here's my review.
It's a
Go
Japanese
see this movie. There we go. So, every time I talk to someone about, like, I keep hearing this is so great, but like the poster looks so weird, and is it really good? And all they said to me was, dude, just that after credits scene, man. That's all they said to me. Like, okay. And then I asked 3 people. John Condon at Dread Central said the same thing to me. What they do after the credits, man? Like, okay. He wouldn't tell me anything. Because he even told me, I will not tell you anything because you have to just see it. And so, I finally saw it. And all I got to say to the audience listening right now is what they do after the credits, man. All right, you're number 3.
Okay.
No, like, I'm not explaining anything. This is the one movie where you can't say anything.
Okay.
The whole enjoyment factor of this movie is based on not knowing shit about it.
Okay.
Don't be a dumbass. Don't read about this movie. Just go see it. Just VOD it. Just do whatever you gotta do. Just
It's on Shudder.
See it. See it. If you don't have Shudder, get Shudder. And then
We've been plugging Shudder this whole fucking show.
Get a trial of Shudder.
Yeah.
And see it. It's worth getting a trial of Shudder and canceling it if you have to.
Yeah.
Just yeah, all I'll say is it's a one-cut zombie movie. And then it ends. And then stuff. So but all I got to say is by the end of Jesus Christ, it's so hard not to talk about it.
You can just go to my 4.
Okay, I'll end with this. A really wise man named Shrek once said that ogres are like onions. They have layers. Okay.
All right. So my 4th favorite horror movie of 2019 is I would call it a psychedelic, drug and curse word fueled punk rock vampire movie called Bliss.
Okay. Yeah. This was the Mandy of 2019.
It was the Mandy of 2019. Yes, that was.
There's a lot of purple.
A lot of purple, a lot of orange, a lot of blues, a lot of greens,
a
lot of blood, you know. Bliss takes the sort of grungy underground LA art scene and kind of turns it into a drug-fueled vampire film where this this I wouldn't say trashy. I would say kind of a fucked up artist girl. She kind of has a threesome and then ends up, oh wait, now I'm a fucking vampire, and the vampirism is treated like drugs. Like she's now on this drug binge for blood and she can't get out of that trance in a way. But what I loved about this film most is just the aesthetic. There's this loud punk rock aesthetic to it with a lot of neon coloring. There's blood everywhere, and there's even a scene where she gets that bloodlust and she just fucks up these 5 people. George Wendt is one of them that she fucks up, and then fucks up Graham Skipper because Graham Skipper is always dying in every movie.
Yeah.
You know, and then after she drinks all their blood, she does a line of coke right afterwards just for the hell of it, you know.
Well, you gotta have that cool down period.
Yeah, you gotta have that cool down period. And then at the end, when she gets into a fight, spoiler, she gets into a fight with another vampire, and then she's doing this blood dance scene with strobe lights. I was like, this is definitely the weird psychedelic punk rock movie that you should, if any of you guys do drugs, you should definitely do drugs to this vampire movie. So
yeah.
I had a lot of fun with Bliss. I would say Bliss is probably one of the better vampire movies of the entire 2010 decades.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of good vampire movies last decade. There were few and far between, but Bliss is definitely one of the better ones. It's definitely one of those treating vampirism as sort of a drug addiction kind of a film.
I always like a vampire movie that takes it into a different direction.
Yeah. Than the traditional.
This did that.
Yes, it did. I had a lot of fun with it. You can always count on Joe Bagos to make like a bloody what the fuck am I watching kind of a film. So
yes.
No, Bliss, great little vampire film. Watch it, guys. And you know what? Better yet, watch it on drugs if you do drugs. All right. Sterling, you're 3?
3.
Oh shit, we're up to top 3, folks.
All right.
Top 3 of 2019.
Oh, okay. About to get dark in here.
Oh, it's gonna get fucked up? Okay.
Oh god, okay. Number 3. I have one of these a year, so here it is. Okay. No, my number 3 is by far the scariest movie I saw all year. This is by far the most frightening movie I saw in 2019.
Is this a
And
documentary?
It is a documentary.
I knew you do this every episode. Every one you have a documentary horror.
But when I see one that's like this, that's made with the intent to chill you and to really get under your skin, it's horror is all about intent.
Okay.
You know, some is meant to like lend itself to the genre but make you laugh, yet still be insightful.
Yeah.
Some are meant to just kind of startle you for the sake of entertainment. Some are meant to actually get to your core and make sure something stays in your brain for the rest of your life. This was the third option.
Okay.
So, this is a frightening movie. Pretty much about people's souls being taken from them and their entire being warped forever. And so my number 3 is Leaving Neverland.
Wow.
And this was 4.5 hours of just rabbit holing everything I thought was bad, but not this bad. And a lot of it has to do with the endurance test, that is the runtime, the 2 halves they had to split it in for televised reasons.
Yeah.
But I never knew the extent.
You didn't think how bad he was.
No.
You knew he was bad. You knew he was doing shit to kids.
Especially all the conspiracy theory talk in the late 2000s that lent Jackson to a martyr as being purposely assassinated by Sony. Like his character was being assassinated.
Yeah.
All these rumors of like, you know, they're making shit up about him because he's talking too much against the industry. Yeah. And then I see this and I'm like, holy fuck, why did I believe any of that now?
Yeah.
These are first accounts that you can't disprove. Finally, from people who are willing to talk, and you can see it in their face, hear it in their voice, how painful it is to even say what they're saying. They don't want to be there, but they don't want to have happened not happen again.
Yeah.
They want it to end. One of the people centered in this was a person I used to see on infomercials as a kid.
Oh, wow.
He was this guy who was selling, like, you remember when we were young, we had those commercials on TV. It was like Now 13. It was like kids singing, like, Kids Bop and shit.
Yeah, remember? I remember those.
So there was one commercial that was playing alongside those, but it was this guy with spiky hair who was the choreographer of NSYNC and Britney Spears, and he was selling his VHS to teach you how to dance like them.
Yes, I remember that. He'll teach you how to dance like Britney Spears. Dance like NSYNC. I remember. Holy shit.
He was raped by Michael Jackson for like 5 years.
Wow.
And he's one of the main guys talking in all 4 hours of this movie. And how he was taught by Michael Jackson. That was never talked about in those infomercials. He was purposely trying to distance himself from mentioning that. Otherwise, that would have been a selling point.
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, because it immediately brought back the nostalgia memories of that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how deep did this go?
God.
And just going into detail, all the secret trap doors and rooms he has in the ranch to get kids away with him while the parents are in the next room while he's raping them. I'm sorry for using that word, but this is fuck. I mean, it was it's literally like you know the kind of horror this sounds like, you know. Yeah. This is predatory, like mystery thriller stalker horror, you know, and just knowing that
you're watching how a predator acted. You're watching how a predator played his game,
but has hands all over the world.
Yeah,
and knows your number, won't leave you alone. Shows up at your house in the middle of like a work week, knocking to go hang out and play. That shit happens. That was happening. Like, he was, like, sending people to people's houses saying, hey, Michael wants you to come down for a week. Like, out of nowhere. And then doing, like, yeah, it's frightening, and yeah, but at the same time, the documentary is incredibly made. You know, it's there's the footage that they use that you've never seen of this guy is insane. This has been held away by these people for so long, you know, because it's personal audition tapes with him and stuff.
Oh my god!
That you would never seen. You don't see anything weird, mind you, but it's just you see him touching the boys and holding them close and just being really handsy.
Oh.
What you think is just, you know, to someone who doesn't know this stuff, it's just, you know, entertainer being friendly with the children, so he's not threatening, and you know, his public image. But then you hear these stories and you see it and it's like, nah, dude, stranger danger time is 11.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, this is my
this one fucked you up.
Yeah, it did. This is my ubiquitous documentary of the year.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is by far the scariest on my list, just because not just because this could happen, this did happen, and everyone on screen talking about it is visibly shaken and terrified to be saying it for numerous reasons. And not just to conjure it, but to realize, what if I say the wrong thing?
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts, and this is one that if you want to go in, make sure you have the time. At the same time, use discretion against yourself, because it's heavy material, and it's a marathon of it, and it takes about halfway through the first chapter to even get to this stuff. The first is just grooming and meeting him, and it just flips on a dime, and it's terrifying. Honestly, Neverland Ranch needs to be leveled, and I really hope that they create some kind of nature reserve or something on top of it. Something really that we need in California right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I gotta say.
Okay, now for my 3, how the fuck am I going to follow that one up, Sterling? Because
You can.
My 3 is a fun, lighthearted horror film.
That's what we need right now. Please do it.
Oh my god! Yeah, but it's like the news when they talk about a brutal family murder, and then are like, and now back to the weather. You know, it's like, how the fuck?
No, anyway, Ling Ling at the San Diego Zoo had a baby panda.
Had a baby panda. It's like, that's how the fuck am I going to follow that up? You're saying it's needed, but I'm like, oh shit! You know, how am I going to make it go from super dark to super light? You know. It's hard, man. All right, my 3. My third favorite horror film of 2019 was another August release, and that was Ready or Not.
Okay.
Ready or Not was would I say Ready or Not was the funnest horror movie of last year? Yeah, it was. Ready or Not was the funnest horror film of last year because you have Samara Weaving, the Australian actress who's killing it right now, and she's such a damn good actress, as like this bride who's marries into this really stuffy, douchey, rich family who has forced to play this family game on her wedding night, and then it has to be hunted, and then is hunted down by the family because the family believes if they don't kill her, this demon that made a pact with the family eons ago will kill them all by sunrise. It's such a fun fucking movie. The tension is there, but you're never like, it's never an uncomfortable tension. It's more of an edge of your seat, oh my god kind of a tension. There's a lot of comedic laughs to break the tension every now and then. You end up hating but liking every single character at the exact same time. The gore scenes are very crowd pleasing. The gore scenes are like, oh, you know, so plus this is a fun, raunchous fucking movie that I had a blast with, and the ending is such a the ending was such a fun left turn that everybody in the theater was just going, oh shit, you know. No, and you know, when she's smoking the cigarette and shit, and I'm like, oh, that's so great. You know, yeah, Ready or Not is, if you want to watch a horror movie that has gore, has tension, has edge of your seat thrills, and it's just a likable, fun time that you're gonna feel good after watching it, definitely Ready or Not. And it was from the guys, the Radio Silence guys, the guys who did the only good segment of the first VHS. And then they did that really bad demonic birth movie That I don't think that was all their fault. I think that was maybe 20th Century's fault too. And then they did this, so they're bouncing back, and I'm really happy for
It
them
was
too.
Afterbirth, right?
Afterbirth? No, it was.
No, what was it?
So I forgot. I honestly
okay.
forgot. I forgot too. So yeah, no, fun fucking movie. Fun movie.
One thing.
For Ready or Not.
There's only one little missed opportunity. That hide and seek's the only game that does that.
Yeah, all the other games that she could have picked.
This had franchise material if every game was fucked up and had a catch to it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But they ended up just doing one, and it's kind of like, so what if there's another version of the movie where she picks tic-tac-toe, and then the movie just ends? That's it.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought
the characters
that was...
are like, I hope she doesn't... Oh my god, I really hope she doesn't pick hide and seek.
I thought that was super lazy writing. And they could have saved it by having everything be a crazy test of survival, or, hey, if she lives through this, then you get to keep her.
Yeah.
Like, if it's like... Imagine if it's like Ring Around the Rosie and shit. There's fucked up shit to do with that.
Oh, man.
Or if it's like Red Rocket. Or, you know,
oh, man.
Like, imagine that. But instead, it's only one is bad.
Rock,
and then
paper, scissors.
Because she...
Somebody actually has a fucking big pair of scissors in their hands.
Everyone is stabbing and knocking their... Like, how do you win?
Covering the paper over her head, like...
yeah. I can't breathe. Wait.
Yeah.
No, but, no, it's like, imagine the franchise material you would have there.
True.
If multiple families who have the same demonic attachment.
What was the name? Mr. Like a French name. Yeah.
But either way, what they did was fun, and I'm glad that they did it.
Yeah.
It's just, sadly, it's going to be a one and done now.
Yeah, true.
But regardless, moving on.
Moving on. So, Sterling, you're on your 2.
Jeez, this one.
I know we're going a fast episode. That's good.
All right, my number 2. I really loved my number 2.
Okay.
Honestly, I thought it was one of the best movies of the year.
Okay.
Not just of my horror list, but of my main list. This made my top 10 of the whole year. And basically, my number 2, we'll just finally get to it here, goes to The Lighthouse.
Fuck. Yes.
So
yes.
This was everything I wanted from an Eggers movie.
Oh my god. This one's so good.
Me and
I'm
James...
Shut up. I'm going to let you take it with this one away.
So
okay.
Me and James were slightly meh about The Witch. We'll admit that. But still saw the prowess in it. It was still a technical marvel.
Yeah.
This was a technical marvel on top of a narrative beast. And so basically, The Lighthouse is resurrecting Carl Theodor Dreyer from the grave to go and create something now with modern technology, but please keep your style intact.
Yeah.
And you get this. You get a really fucked up, claustrophobic, this tension thriller, pretty much that grows on you by the ability to truly feel too suffocated through one person's attachment to you. Your sad codependency on who you just choose, like everything just is off about this. But this is your life now. And until you're able to finally leave the situation, you are contractually and physically obligated to be literally cabin fevered on this terrible rock with this terrible farting man. And
there was a lot of farts in this movie. Yes.
Clearly coming from the perspective of Robert Pattinson's character. You have this maybe introverted guy who, he's stranded in multiple ways on this place. Not just because he's on an island in a place that's meant to be secluded, because you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen in this kind of line of work. But also, he can barely escape to his own mind where he is. And that's where the real terror comes from, is not just the elements ready to kill you if you don't watch it, but the ability of just being able to withstand your fellow man when you have no connection to anything. Yet you are completely overshadowed and smothered by this domineering father figure, almost like abusive attitude.
You know what I would say? I would say that The Lighthouse, before I get into my spiel about The Lighthouse, The Lighthouse is pretty much, the best way to describe The Lighthouse would be introverted millennial introverted millennial meets or versus domineering baby boomer.
Basically, yeah.
The horror film.
Yeah.
It's the horror film.
Yes. So, yeah, this is just it's a fever dream, reality blending fantasy, very much literature fantasy, that takes a lot of impressionistic liberties to give us the most beautiful, frightening imagery I've seen in a movie in I don't know how long. I don't even want to compare it to anything.
Oh man,
I want this to stand alone, and it does stand alone. The 4x3 aspect really helps you feel that claustrophobia.
Man. When I saw that 4x3 aspect in the theater, I lost my shit.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh my god!" It was like the ending of the Wicker Man. Oh my god, that was me in the theater seeing 4x3 on the big screen. I was like, "What?
No, not the goals! Not the goals!
Not the goals!
There's no why!" No, yeah, there's so many memorable moments in this movie. Yet there's zero pacing issue, so getting to each one is perfect.
It takes its time, but it takes its time in the best way.
It's very thoughtful, and you just feel I'm excited every time I watch it. I'm legitimately excited every time it's coming on because it's just one of those movies that just proves certain distributors just know their shit.
Oh man.
And
it's like bless A24.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
And again, another proof that Robert Pattinson's one of the best actors of this generation.
Oh dude, it's like Twilight doesn't even fucking exist.
Not to him, and he's happy with that.
You know what? I was gonna say something. Do you never notice that all of Robert Pattinson's movies after Twilight is like super artful, but he's fucking something?
Yeah.
He's fucking something. High Life, he's fucking a lot.
Yeah.
Cosmopolis, he's fucking. Lighthouse, he's fucking. It's like every movie Robert Pattinson's gonna fuck something.
Yes.
Okay? Robert Pattinson fucks.
Yeah. Oh man, this movie was so good at making mermaids scary too.
Yes, it was. Oh my.
The first image.
Unfuckable.
Those prosthetics were very
very
we're not
convincing
prosthetics. We're not talking about those. That model work, also, when you get to your part, because I know it's coming up on your list, you got to talk about the hole in the bed. It's not a spoiler because it's in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but I want to hear your theory on that. How he finds the mermaid in it, and then you see later, like a scene later.
Yeah,
it just makes you wonder. Like, I guess they're both kind of fucking mermaids.
Yeah,
but only one. You know about it from only one perspective.
Yes,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
You never get to see what Defoe does during his shift.
No, you don't.
But the ending, which I won't spoil, very much lends itself to to my personal favorite stories of the Greek pantheon. And I wish I could talk about the ending, honestly, because it's literally taken straight from that.
I want to hear your theory on that, like, after this podcast.
Let's talk about it after.
After, okay.
But for those who are... This is a really big movie for people who just enjoy classic literature. Okay. There's a lot of referential stuff in here.
Oh, yeah.
But primarily in how master authors would describe the setting of their films. And you get to see it finally here, and it's terrifying. It's so terrifying. Just remember to wait till... you're downwind before you throw the shit off the cliff. Okay, so it's time for James's number
my two. This is a movie I think we're going to immediately argue about, but I have my reasons for liking it, and this movie was very well liked last year too. My number 2 favorite horror movie of last year, this was not the director's cut, this was the theatrical cut that was released in November that nobody fucking saw, called Dr. Sleep.
Okay. Was that in November?
That was in November.
I thought it was earlier than that.
No, the dumbasses at Warner Bros. Decided to release a sequel to The Shining a week after Halloween, when everybody was burnt out. And then they're like, how did this movie fail at the box office? It's like, well...
Because we're eating turkey.
Yeah, because we're in the middle of eating fucking turkey, so... Okay. Yeah, Dr. Sleep.
Okay.
Dr. Sleep was my second favorite horror movie of last year, because, where to start? Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's deeply inspiring. It's deeply scary. The older I get, the more settled down I become, the more Jack Torrance is fucking terrifying to me. So you make a sequel to The Shining following adult Danny and the struggles that he goes through, and it's such a well put together sequel to that movie because you have a lot of callbacks visually to the Stanley Kubrick version of The Shining, not the Stephen King version. Let's not even talk about that Mick Garris one. Okay, but there's a lot of callbacks, and yes, the villain is the Hat. The villain are these like essence sucking like vampire things, and I didn't particularly find them that well made villains altogether. But the main strength of the movie to me comes from The Shining itself, that sort of psychic bond between Danny and the little girl, and all about Danny and all about the shit that he goes through. That was my favorite thing about the film. I will say the murder of Baseball Boy in the movie was one of the most harrowing goddamn murders I've ever seen on film. Especially one of the most harrowing child murders I've seen, because the poor kid is just screaming and screaming, and this is a little boy, and they're enjoying it while they're doing it. And I'm like, oh, this is a rough fucking watch right now. But my favorite thing about the Dr. Sleep was not the horror. It was how fucking heartfelt this movie was. This movie tugs at your heartstrings so well while giving you those visual callbacks to the Stanley Kubrick The Shining. And then, you know, when it ends all back at the Overlook Hotel, it almost felt like you were returning to the Overlook yourself. You were returning to the very first time you watched The Shining as a kid. And all the visuals are there, and we meet Jack Torrance again. Spoiler, we meet Jack Torrance again, played by a different actor, but like there's this dialogue scene between Danny and his father Jack, the spirit of his father Jack, about alcohol. Sorry. I'm getting choked up. Sorry. Ugh. I think I'm getting sick. Sorry. There's this talk about alcohol numbing pain. Can we pause?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, wait. No. We don't have to pause. I'm sorry.
You just cut it when you need to pause.
No. It's fine. There's this talk about alcohol numbing pain and about how wives and children's kind of eat away. Oh God, Art, stop, please, no. Jack Torrance, no. Ewan McGregor is Danny. Stop this, please. But it almost has this cathartic end to everything that the Shining set up. Mm-hmm. It has this very cathartic end, even though the book does not end at the Overlook at all. So Mike Flanagan ending it at the Overlook and giving you those callbacks and almost showing the character of Jack Torrance full circle and almost defending Jack Torrance in a very humanistic and down-to-earth way, and then showing a sort of resolution to Danny, a resolution to The Shining itself, a resolution to Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining. It was like, okay, I'm okay with this, and I kind of love it, how it all ends and stuff. And, yeah, my only complaint about Dr. Sleep was obviously pacing issues. Mm-hmm. I didn't particularly like the villains all too well. I know everybody loved Rose the Hat, and I didn't. I was like,
I didn't like her.
It was like, this is just a bitchy hipster villain.
I'm like the only person, I guess, who's not in love with her portrayal as the villain in this movie.
I did like that blonde girl that becomes
Rebecca Ferguson's a great actor.
Yeah, you know.
But I didn't like that character.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to care about.
There was another evil woman I liked, that blonde girl, who they put.
The one who looked like Lauren Ashley Carter.
No. Well, the blonde girl who becomes part of the vampire-ish group.
The one who looked like Lauren Ashley Carter.
No, she looked different. She looked way different.
She looked close, kind of. At first, I thought it was her.
But she's such a man-hater, and they kind of emphasize that when she's about to kill Danny, and she's like, "Fucking man." I found that so goddamn believable. That a woman's hatred of men, especially if you go on Twitter a lot, you'll see a lot of that shit. A woman's hatred of man literally turns her into a child-killing vampire woman. And I'm like, all right, I actually like that turn, you know, so. But, yeah, the only thing I didn't like about this movie was, yes, I know I like Alex Esso as an actress. I think she did an actual great job as Wendy in the film. But, like we talked about earlier, Sterling, I'm really tired of Jocelyn Donahue and Alex Esso in fucking everything.
Yeah.
Those are Alex Esso, Jocelyn Donahue, and Lauren Ashley Carter are the three brunettes in every fucking horror movie for like the last 10 years. And I'm like, there are other brunette actresses, directors, please, for the love of God.
No one else gets a chance. No one else gets a career.
It's just those three. Just those three. And I'm like, oh my God, come on, guys. Come on. But you know what's funny is I was really surprised Ewan McGregor even agreed to be in it. I mean, you know, I thought he did a great job as Danny. You know, so I haven't seen the director's cut yet. I heard the director's cut fleshes out the characters better, and the director's cut has a longer scene with Danny talking to Jack Torrance. So I got to check out the director's cut too. So
well, maybe I need to see that because I had a lot of problems with this movie.
You know what? You can start. You know, tell me your problems.
Well, it was a lot of little things.
Okay.
You know, and they just built up, and I couldn't let it go.
All right.
Basically, I wasn't a fan of Alex Essel's portrayal
as Wendy. Okay.
I just felt that the idea of even attempting it was just kind of doomed from the start. I just thought, no, just we've seen The Shining.
Yeah.
Skip it. You know, be more honorable to Shelley Duvall. She's gone through so much now. This was the most disrespectful thing I've seen you do to her.
Okay.
Is to recast her, but keep her same portrayal after we've had 60 Minutes and everything exploit her on national TV with her mental illness.
Let's not forget that asshole known as Dr. Phil, too.
Yes. So let's cool it on that. But what's done is done. I hated the villains as well. I thought they were boring.
With the exception of the murder of Baseball Boy, they're so meh.
Yeah. And even that, I didn't care about that scene because of them. It was the situation. It could have been anyone killing the boy doing that, and that would have been terrifying.
Yeah.
But after it's over, it's back to boring villains again.
Yeah.
So, my main problem with the movie is Stephen King. Has nothing to do with the way this movie was directed or made. This is based off a book.
Yeah.
And you got to translate the material.
Yeah.
So, The Shining expanded universe, as I'll call it.
All right.
This was not a Shining movie. This was an X-Men movie. This is a superhero movie. I'm seeing Professor X, played by Ewan McGregor, contacting Jean Grey to recruit her as an X-Men, flying through space and time into someone's mind to fuck it up so Magneto doesn't get her first.
Oh, wow.
This is an X-Men fucking movie. This was a Marvel movie. This wasn't Shining to me. I mean, it had talk about heavy stuff, but it was overshadowed by how fantasy superpower it was. I'm just like,
oh yeah, they were doing
keep
a lot
going.
of psychic shit.
Open the files in their brain like Bruce Almighty, you know, and it was just so goofy. Like, I couldn't get away from the fact that this just felt, and again, this is Stephen King writing this shit. You know what I mean?
Stephen King can get pretty goofy at times.
Yeah, I think, to me, I've never been on good terms with Stephen King's sequel material. Okay. He always jumps the shark immediately when he sequelizes one of his classics. And this was like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah. Okay, I'm guilty of not reading the book.
I am too.
I don't know what parts are taken directly and what parts were toned down. I bet you a lot of scenes were toned down by Flanagan to make sure that, you know, it translated well to a movie.
Fucking wacky, you know.
His shit has no bounds. But I mean, come on. The scene that they had to remove in It? Yeah. Anyway, so basically, I just thought it was a bit too superhero, but you know, the third act was kind of cool how it kind of ditched some of the book material for the sake of a better ending. Yeah. Except for one thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil anything. All I'm going to say is certain characters from, you know, maybe past movies you might have seen that appear in this are kind of reduced to nothing more than generic Blumhouse ghosts. And now it's hard for me to understand that. It's hard for me to kind of go back to The Shining now because of this. Okay. This is another movie that sequelizes something that I wish I could unsee so that I don't have to think, next in the lore, this happens, though. And it's completely, how did we get here? Yeah. Basically, it's just, if I watch The Shining again, the most wacko thing in that movie, aside from blood and elevators and dog suit men, is a guy with an axe who, you know, that yet I'm supposed to believe in that universe of this movie, there's people with superpowers who can suck your soul out like Green Mile. You see how this is tough?
I can understand where you're coming from.
I can't watch The Shining now and think, in this same universe,
You're looking at an X-Men universe, yeah.
This shit's happening. This kid is food. You know, like that's weird.
That's understandable.
And because it's so grounded, and now it's like Infinity War. I don't know. So basically, that's my only thing. It has nothing to do with Flanagan's directing. He's awesome.
Yeah.
This is Stephen King. You know.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all.
Okay. So anyway, Sterling.
I have a request, by the way.
Oh, you have a request? Okay, I'm just gonna say, like, we're getting a little in there. We still got to do our ones, and then our honorable mentions, and then our disappointments of the year.
So, question.
Yeah.
Is your number one a film that we already talked about?
Yes.
Would you like to go for it really quick? If we can end on a different film.
Okay. My number one horror movie of 2019 was...
I'm dying to hear your version.
My number one horror film of 2019 was The Lighthouse. I fucking loved The Lighthouse. This was something I was excited for, and it gave me everything and more. Holy shit. When I saw the 4:3 aspect ratio in the theater, I flipped my shit. Both William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson are at their absolute best. It's monologue after monologue about how much they fucking hate each other.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's a slow building dread. The dialogue and the chemistry between them is millennial versus asshole baby boomer. Mm-hmm. Obviously, which... As a millennial with an asshole baby boomer dad, there's a reason why I fucking love this movie so much. Because I was like, the whole movie, I was like, this is me and my father. This is me and my fucking father.
I mean, I hope it's not to that extent.
Not to that extent. Okay. Not to the extent where we're talking
My mermaid.
No. Yes, we're not to that extent. We're not to the extent where he's saying, I will throw the trident fork into your gullet for not liking me lobster. That whole thing about not liking lobster was fucking fantastic.
That was like the best monologue ever.
Plus, his Robert Pattinson indie monologue was like, and you farts, you goddamn farts, they smell like a fucking animal shithouse. Like 2 hot onions fucked a barnyard shithouse. You know, I fucking love this movie.
It's like it was Judd Apatow dialogue in the middle of a horrific rant.
The movie builds on its tension. Like you know there's this tension between the two, and things are going to go from bad to worse to holy shit, and it does that. But you also have Robert Pattinson. I'm going to say this right now. There's this weird homoerotic undertone between the two also.
Yes.
Like when Robert Pattinson is spying on William Dafoe's ass, that was like
yeah.
But also when there's a funny ass scene where they're drunk and they're dancing all romantically, and then they're about to kiss, and then they're about to punch each other. That's fucking fantastic. And oh my lord, it's plus, you have the scene where they talk about women, and Robert Pattinson is saying, if I had a steak, I'd fuck it. You know,
yes.
There's so much quotes in this movie, too. This is such an enjoyable film. Plus, the cinematography is so beautiful. It captures a sort of art house, late 60s black and white film so goddamn well.
Yeah.
That monochrome black and white, and I'm like, oh my god. Plus, you feel just as isolated on this rock of a lighthouse as they do. And it's that isolation that really just turns them both crazy. And, the scene with the mermaid where, big spoiler here, folks, where Robert Pattinson imagines himself fucking a mermaid. Yes, he actually fucks a mermaid. Now, you might be thinking, how do you fuck a mermaid? You'll find out if you watch the movie, folks. And there's a scene where he's jerking off very hard to that mermaid statue. You have to understand that these are 2 men who haven't seen a woman in a long time, stuck on a rock in that isolation. Sterling, I work in a factory with nothing but men. Mm-hmm. For about 10 to 12 hour days. When a woman shows up to the factory, every man is going, that shit's real. That's really real. That isolation does shit to men. The isolation makes our male gaze jump to 100-fold. It really does. So, and what to say about the ending? The ending to me still doesn't make any sense, but it's definitely an ending I saw coming, but still, just how it happens, I'm still thinking, like, I don't know what happened, but I love...
I'll explain it to you.
I love that I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
This, and It's like somebody on Twitter said Robert Eggers followed a very feminist witch movie with pretty much Men, the black and white film.
Yeah.
And for me, you can definitely retitle this movie a black and white horror movie version of Introvert Millennial versus Domineering Baby Boomer, the movie. And that's The Lighthouse. And I fucking loved this movie. This was like, oh my god. Like, Robert Eggers can do no wrong to me, and Robert Pattinson can do no fucking wrong to me now. I am so excited for Robert Pattinson to be Batman now. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Kill it. And you know what? I hope Robert Pattinson Batman fucks in that movie, too.
Yeah. Well,
have Robert Pattinson fuck everything.
Well,
have him fuck everything.
There's a Barbara Gordon somewhere. Anyway,
dude.
So
he's gonna fuck Barbara. He's gonna fuck Catwoman. He's gonna fuck Harley Quinn. He's gonna fuck Commissioner Gordon's wife. He's gonna fuck them all. Okay.
The first scene of the movie is gonna be him, a close up of his face with the mask on, and then
and
all three of those women in the same room, like, let's do it.
Oh fuck yeah! I would have
the Batman,
and I would stand up and start clapping in the middle of the theater.
The Batman, and then the word "bat" fades out.
The
man.
Okay. Yes. Anyway, so yeah, number one movie of the year. Sorry, we're stretching a little close on time here, folks. So we're just trying to wrap it up. So Sterling, your number one horror movie of 2019.
Okay, so this has happened to me before, and the fact that it happened again is just so sad. So every now and then, the first movie of the year I see ends up being my favorite movie of that year, and then the rest of the year I'm fucked.
Okay.
And so basically, I'm just trying to watch everything I can to see something I like more, that connects with me more, that is more like, that is that surpassing picture.
Okay.
And I almost got it.
Okay.
I almost got it this year with Parasite, yet Parasite's my number 2 of the year. My number
Parasite a horror film? We had that discussion.
I'm talking about in general.
Oh, in general. Yeah.
My favorite film of the whole year was my favorite horror film of the year.
Really?
Yes. That never happens. Usually it's a documentary.
Usually they're two separate things.
Yes. Well, I mean, I combine them no matter what. But usually my number 1 horror film on this list will be like number 5 on the overall list.
Yes, exactly.
You know? So, no, this is one and done.
Wow.
So, my number 1 is, it is one of the coolest experiences that I've ever had watching a movie on a big screen. It will stay with me forever, just how it's made. And by who made it, I should have known that going in, but I never... After 2 stinkers in a row, I just kind of felt like this dude was done. And then I saw this, and my favorite movie he's ever made. So my number 1 is Climax by Gaspar Noé.
Oh,
and
yes. You've told me about this movie quite a bit.
This movie, first off, I went into this not even knowing it was a horror movie. It
looked like a weird dance orgy movie.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like Love of Part 2, but not 5 hours long.
Yeah.
So yeah, after really not liking Love, I went into this as, birthday present that Mr. Jason Nichols paid my entry for.
Yeah.
And we went to the Frida to see it, only theater playing it in Miles. And it starts out as a dance movie. It starts out with the most amazing dance sequence I've ever seen in any movie ever. And me and Jason were looking at each other and saying, if the movie's just this, I'm down. This is awesome. And it was like the most awesome dance sequence. And then it goes to a quick, sequence meeting the characters. They're talking to each other in this party setting. And then a second dance number starts, but now from a bird's eye downward view, and you see them all breakdancing. Like, this is awesome. This should just be this, And then after that, the basically it's been okay. So it starts like Irreversible, the credits, the end credits start. Then these scenes start. It's been 45 minutes now. And then the cast starts. Yeah. It puts the cast 45 minutes in, and then the opening title, Climax.
Wow,
I'm like,
does the opening title halfway through the movie. Holy shit.
And then as soon as that happens, it fades in to their after party, because they're getting ready to... They're a French dance team that's going to compete against the U.S.
Yeah.
And it fades into this big punch bowl of sangria as they're all drinking. And there's like a big Linklater talking scene for like 10 minutes straight. They're all just talking about, oh man, I like her, she's great, and then girls saying she's such a bitch, you know, this being drama and whatever. And then all of a sudden they all slowly start slurring their words and getting weird. And then they all realize that someone spiked the sangria with a shitload of LSD.
Like a dangerous amount of LSD.
Yes, incomprehensible, like this is poisonous to your body at this point.
Yeah.
Amount. And they're all locked into this gymnasium, snowed in a blizzard. So there's no leaving, and there's no outside contact. So
I take it a lot of self-mutilation and murder happens.
Basically, a lot of self-mutilation, a lot of freaking out, a lot of screaming, and everyone starting to freak out by people freaking out. And the whole movie, after this point, is basically just one take.
Wow.
You're following everyone down all the hallways. The main actress in the film, Sofia Boutella from Atomic Blonde, you follow her the most. And she's the choreographer of the dance team, but she's starting to, like, really freak out, trying to hold it together, but can't. She just keeps noticing everyone panicking, and it's getting to her because she's about to freak out, but trying to hold it in. Pretty soon, you're following her throughout the entire building, and you see where certain characters are and what they're doing in their current situation. She'll get to the end of the building and then have to walk back. And then you remember all the characters are, and you pass them again and see how they've progressed or regressed.
Oh my god!
Into a horrible animalistic primal rage.
Oh wow!
And it gets to the point where they start violently battering each other. This one girl who is reveals by accident that she's pregnant, so she didn't drink the sangria, is accused of spiking it.
Oh
so
no!
They start hitting her stomach.
Oh Jesus!
Aborting her. And then one guy who was also accused gets thrown out in the cold. You have...
so it turns into like a Lord of the Flies type of thing.
Yes,
okay.
But forcefully. There's no hierarchy to be gained. They're just freaking out. And they want everything to reset. There's a horrific scene of this little 8-year-old boy who needs to be locked into a dark power generator room so that he doesn't start to freak out because the mom caught him drinking the sangria too.
Oh no.
And he's a little tiny kid.
Yeah.
He drank a whole cup.
Holy shit.
So the whole movie is just fucked. And like, it is the most artistic movie on my list only because of
it's art house disturbing.
Yes.
Art house disturbing. All right.
And
isn't there a scene where a girl? Doug told me about this one. There's a scene where a girl is wearing like nylon pantyhose, and she reaches.
Sophia does that.
Yeah, she reaches her hands into it, and she just starts flipping out
because she thinks she put her hands into her skin,
legs, through her skin,
and she starts freaking out, forgetting that she had fishnets, and starts freaking out,
flipping her shit.
Right after that scene is what Gaspar even admitted is a direct inspiration tribute scene to the freak out scene in Possession.
Okay.
Down the hallway where she starts freaking out.
Yeah.
They recreate that exact scene.
Oh man, I gotta.
She's such a good actress. She's amazing.
She's so good.
Basically, the movie just keeps from then on going an hour straight of just people freaking out.
This is a spiral into hell. Into
absolute hell. This is terrifying.
Okay.
I don't know what I would do. This is scary. And also two last points, and that's it. One, this is by far the most accessible movie he's ever made. Okay. If you want to get into one of his movies, this is probably the one because it's short. This is like 85 minutes. But at the same time, it's lightning quick. The pacing is so fast.
Okay.
Especially because the dancing's are so amazing.
Yeah.
The first half flies by like nothing.
Oh, okay.
And then two, the main thing I wanted to take away is that with this movie basically getting just a little bit of release, not many people saw it. I just want people to take away that this is what he's kind of known for. This is, in my opinion, his best movie since Irreversible. I like this more than Irreversible. Let's be honest, Irreversible has like a few scenes you wait for.
Yeah. And
the rest is just like, okay, now it's just character development in reverse.
Yeah.
This is full force as fast as possible to point B. And I want people to see this one and know how good he really is.
Okay.
Without having to be turned away because Enter the Void is so boring at times.
Yeah.
So I want him to keep doing this. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Is what this guy has to do.
Yeah.
He has it in him. Lately, he's been disobeying that rule horribly.
Yeah.
And I get it. He's a self-indulgent guy, but he's also brilliant.
Yeah.
So I guess we got to give him credit where it's due. I really hope you get to see this soon, James.
Oh, I do.
This movie is absolutely incredible, and yeah, again, A24.
A24.
You know,
so Sterling, you want to do some honorable mentions?
Yes.
So let me do my honorable mentions. I'm just gonna say these titles. It Chapter 2, not nearly as good as the first one, but I liked it. Satanic Panic from Chelsea Stardust. Fun little suburbia Satanism movie with some surprising amount of supernatural shit in it. And then third, Little Monsters. I had a lot of fun. Little Monsters is a super heartfelt zombie movie. Your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions, Satanic Panic as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. That was hilarious. This one is an honorable mention because it's not allowed on my list because it breaks the rules.
Yeah.
Goes to Antrim. Only because I thought that was absolutely fantastic what they pulled off. However, I co-programmed that to a festival, so that cannot be counted as an actual thing. And then my final honorable mention.
Okay.
I loved this movie for all the wrong reasons, and I really hope it becomes the new The Room. Goes to The Fanatic.
Okay, I've heard about The Fanatic, yeah.
The Fanatic with John Travolta
Yeah.
is one of the stupidest, worst movies ever, but it is so bad, it's so amazing.
Okay.
And his first line in the movie is, "I can't talk long, I gotta poo."
I've heard, yeah.
You can't make that shit up. Okay.
So let's get to our disappointments.
Okay.
These disappointments, these aren't our worst films of the year. These are movies that we were looking forward to.
Should have been.
And they should have been on the list, but something about it just bummed us out.
Yeah.
Something about us was like, what the fuck was that? Now, this could be things about the movie. We could think there's good things about the movie and bad things about the movie, but these movies left us cold.
They have to be primarily negative to us.
Let me say mine really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to piss off a lot of people. I did not like I was really disappointed with Jordan Peele's Us. Now, know why? Great premise. These weird subterranean copies of people are coming out of the ground and killing people with golden scissors. Fucking love it. There's a theme about identity. Love that too. There's this Lovecraftian notion of who the fuck are these things and why the fuck are they doing it. And then all of a sudden, the main mom goes down to cellar, and the main evil version of her starts to turn into a goddamn James Bond villain and starts this exposition thing as to why everything is happening. What the fuck? Why the hell, Jordan Peele, did you just explain the horror to us?
Because we're stupid and we can't get it.
Yeah, we're stupid and apparently we can't think for ourselves. That was insultive. Plus, then, not only that, do you just completely make everything less scary by giving us that exposition and turning your villain into a James Bond villain. Then, the ending, there's a twist that we all saw a mile away that just kind of just ruins the entire movie for you.
But they have to go further to elaborate on that, too.
Yeah, yes, they do. Which, oh my god.
Because, we might not get it.
Oh, I know. What a terrific Lovecraftian-style horror film that decides to immediately talk down to the audience. And I keep telling Sterling, I got to do a fan cut of Us where I cut out that exposition monologue from the villain and I cut out that flashback ending and just leave it as open-ended and as creepy as possible and boom, save the movie.
And replace her voice with Danny DeVito.
Oh, God, yes. And boom, save the movie. My second disappointment of the year was a haunted house movie I was really looking forward to called The Girl on the Third Floor. This is now getting a lot of buzz right now. I don't know why. It came out last year. But
you mentioned this one to me, but I haven't seen it.
Girl on the Third Floor was definitely a slow burn haunted house film that had like visual aesthetics to Clive Barker and even H.P. Lovecraft.
That already sounds good.
See, a haunted house movie like that's both Clive Barker and H.P. Lovecraft and is really gooey sounds right up my alley. But then the movie has this constant message hitting me over the head saying men's sexuality is evil.
Oh, of course.
Of course. Men's sexuality is evil. Men who like dominance play are inherently evil. And the women who seduce them are actually good. And I fucking hated that. And this was directed by a straight man too. So I'm sitting there going like, listen, if you want to talk about temptation and you want to talk about sexual weakness, that's okay. Because all straight men suffer from those. But when you hit it over our heads constantly, where dominance play and choking a girl, even though she likes it, is somehow inherently evil and shit, and like men's temptations mean that we're all bad guys, it's like, you know what? Fuck this movie. I'm tired of this shit. Girl on the Third Floor is like a haunted house movie that is aesthetically from H.P. Lovecraft and Clive Barker, but is somehow directed by Twitter feminism.
Okay.
That's Girl on the Third Floor. I'm sorry, everybody. That's just how I felt it. Fuck that movie. Sorry. And my third disappointment of the year, Sterling, you're going to yell at me for this one. You might end the podcast, and you're going to choke me. And let me explain myself.
Sure.
My third disappointment of the year is One Cut of the Dead.
Okay.
It just didn't work for me.
Sure.
It didn't work for me. I get it. I didn't particularly care for any of the characters, and I did like how... Oh, I'm not going to spoil it. Okay, anyways. But
Don't.
it just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Plus, I didn't even know there was an end credit scene.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know there were... I once the credits actually rolled after, like, the 80-minute mark, I was like, okay, and then I turned it off. I didn't even watch after the credits. So, yeah.
If you saw 80 minutes, then you saw the whole thing.
I don't remember the runtime. I really don't.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, those were my disappointments of the year. Before
Basically, okay, without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Did you turn it off after just the regular ass zombie movie ended?
No.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
No, not at all. So, but anyway, your disappointments of the year before we get to the worst of the year. So,
Okay. My number 3 disappointment of the year is a film I was somehow looking forward to, even though I didn't like the first one that much.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like this one. So this it's been a tough year for this dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, King. It Chapter 2.
Okay.
I felt like this movie was too busy gay bashing to actually be scary and try to tell a story. I get it's all in his book, but Jesus Christ, that opening scene took place in 2019. No. When does it take place? In the Super South or something? Like
Maine. It's almost as if
It's
King
in
is
Maine.
saying...
Yeah,
King is saying Maine is fucked
Oh,
up.
I forgot. It takes place in the blue state. That's right. Anyway, but basically the movie is so mean-spirited to the LGBT community, and it just was weird to me, especially considering it's no longer a miniseries, from the early 90s or whatever. Like, no, this is now.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, but also, it's questionable Bill Hader's, intent in the movie.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's like, why are you scared to...
Yeah, but Pennywise capitalizes on that too,
Yeah, but so does Stephen King. But then, basically, I just thought this movie was really slow, and all of the effects were terrible in comparison to the first. Like, the old lady thing was bad looking, and all the throwbacks just didn't work right. It relies way too much on flashbacks to the kids to tell a story with the adults.
There's too much of that. There's a lot of that.
It's like they knew they couldn't do a good movie with only the adult story.
Yeah.
The fortune cookie scene was so terrible looking. That's the only adult scene that I like from the original miniseries.
Okay.
Only thing I liked was the casting was perfect.
Yeah.
And everyone knocked it out. Especially James Ransone. I thought he did fantastic.
Oh, he does good. Such a good job.
And they did great by casting by looks, too. They all looked right. Even the kid who plays the New Kids in the Block fan.
Yeah.
He has the same face.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, I give him that, but I thought the movie was disappointing, and I was looking really forward to it. My number 2 disappointment is Sweetheart.
I didn't even see that one.
I
wanted to see it.
I love movies that, because I remember you let me know about it.
Yeah.
That it's a movie about one character, no dialogue monster.
On an island.
It's not that at all.
What?
So it's one character, a lot of dialogue to oneself at times. Eventually more characters show up. And it's a hardcore feminist movie.
I'm glad I didn't see it.
Guess what the title comes from?
What?
A guy calls her sweetheart, and it makes her angry because he's not listening to her that there's a monster. The problem of the movie is there's a monster ready to kill everyone, but we detract from that to say, this guy is misogynistic.
I'm pretty sure the monster killing anybody is a bit more important at the moment. So.
Yeah, but
I don't.
so anyway,
we both have disappointments with movies that had no right to be Twitter feminists, but they ended up being Twitter feminist.
Basically,
yeah.
For
me, girl on the third floor. For you, fucking sweetheart.
I mean, isn't it weird though?
Yeah.
Like how that kind of happens. Like,
what's funny? I was gonna say there are better films that tackle feminist issues in a much more better sense, like Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue.
Yeah.
Or Steven Soderbergh's Unsane.
Yes.
Those tackle feminist issues so much better than being fucking preachy and being all men are evil shit.
They put you in the shoes. You feel... I mean, you can almost grasp a little bit of what the real pain is.
Yes.
As a man, I can never understand the full pain.
That. But those movies do so well at trying to put you in those shoes.
Instead of just more bullying to fix bullying.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
Your number one disappointment?
Us.
Okay.
It was Us, because...
Same shit, all the exposition.
I mean, his last film was a masterpiece, and this was a director thinking I'm too stupid to understand his not that complex story.
Yeah. It's a very simple Lovecraftian horror.
And at the same time, it felt too similar to his last movie, in a way.
Yeah.
It's just more people who look like other people.
Yeah.
It's
more like a body hopper.
Sure, I get it. Instead of Body Snatcher, it's Doppelganger.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? It's the same thing. Same ballpark. You know? I want to see something new. Yeah. And I just felt... I was already kind of like, this feels like it could be a universe thing. Mm-hmm. And then I saw it, and I thought, this is boring. You know? And I'm sorry, but I'm one of those few people who just... I couldn't handle her voice.
Okay.
It was the most cringy thing I've ever heard. It was cringy.
My family is evil.
Yeah, like, why was that a choice? That was embarrassing to me. Like, I was literally in my seat, embarrassed watching it. And there was no one there I was with. You know, but I was embarrassed for myself watching it.
Okay.
That was hard.
All right. So, Sterling, well, let me get my worst horror movie of the year out of the way.
Okay.
Okay? Because we're running a little short on time.
Sure.
I promise I will be leaving soon. So, my worst horror movie of the year was a Dread Central Presents film.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, John Condit. You know exactly what movie I'm about to talk about. I fucking hated the Bigfoot movie hoax.
Okay.
This movie promised to bring back Bigfoot carnage, and instead... I got a long, talky movie about people arguing in the woods, and then finally when Bigfoot shows up, I'm going to spoil this. I'm sorry, John. You're going to hate me for this.
Does he get to an argument, too? It's like, hey, you guys should be out of here. Yeah, you shut up. You shut up.
And then at the end, guess what? The end... I'm going to spoil it. I'm sorry. The ending, it isn't Bigfoot at all. It's actually rednecks who dress up like Bigfoot, who all are doing it for their redneck mom, and then it turns into... It's Scooby-Doo. And then there's a reveal that one of the girls who was originally kidnapped was raped and murdered, so it turns into a Last House on the Left too. So, and then at the very end, Bigfoot actually does show up, and I'm sitting there going like, are you fucking kidding me? You promised Bigfoot carnage a la like Night of the Demon from the 80s or Abominable, and instead I got a boring-ass movie about unlikable douchebags arguing, and then an ending that's pretty much Scooby-Doo meets Last House on the Left. Fuck this movie. John Condit, why was this movie chosen? Why was this movie chosen? I don't understand. I really don't understand.
This sounds amazing.
I don't know. I don't understand how Dread Central Presents goes from Terrifier to Extremity. Goes from these fucking great titles to hoax. What the fuck just happened?
Oh, this is great.
Anyway, your worst horror movie of 2019, Sterling.
Okay, time to get depressed again.
Yeah.
All right. So, have you ever seen a movie that is so bad that the prior entry in the series that was already so bad is now a masterpiece? Because I saw that too. I saw that this year.
Okay.
And I couldn't believe they couldn't even surpass what they attempted 10 years prior.
Oh my god.
Yet it was such a belly flop this time that I almost want to start watching the old one just because it's a different taste out of my mouth. So, Jesus Christ. I thought I've seen the worst of these types of movies already. Mm-hmm. No, this is it. Doom Annihilation.
Oh, I even forgot about that one. I forgot about it.
Is the shittiest excuse for anything that was trying to attempt at the same time. Everywhere. That video game movies, horror movies, sci-fi horror, action, H.P. Lovecraftian thriller, like any of those types of things, all of it. It's the worst of all of it I've ever seen. Like, this is okay. So you have a cast, no one I've ever heard of, no one, not even Z-grade whore faces, together, going to the UAC, with no budget. The Rock Doom had like at least a couple $1 million. Yeah. This was like Party City. Party City green screen.
Oh my God.
So they show up to the UAC and there's a couple zombies and they kill them and then imps show up, right?
Yeah.
They actually throw fireballs that are like After Effects rendered.
Oh my God.
And then that's it. There's no other monsters in this movie but imps.
That's fucking boring.
The first movie at least had Hell Knights and a Pinky with imps and zombies. This has zombies and then imps. And there's only like 3 imps. And that's all hell breaking loose. And then every character gets killed off in the first like third of the movie. They all go down like nothing. The one-liners make no sense. There's a big, strong black guy who kills a couple zombies and then lets out his one-liner that's, "I'm your ultra nightmare, motherfuckers."
God, that's awful.
And then he immediately gets killed from behind in the same shots. He was their ultra nightmare, though. Anyway, so then the movie has no Doom guy. It's Doom Girl.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that.
No, but except the BFG she gets shoots like little green bolts that look like a rocket launcher from any other game.
That's the plasma rifle.
Yeah, but it's not even rapid fire. It's
that's stupid.
It's like one round, you know?
Oh, that's stupid.
And she's trying. She goes to hell in a portal. Hell looks like a green screen effect. And then the monsters she's fighting are like these shadow things that don't appear anywhere.
Wow.
And then she eventually does something to explode everything, and then she escapes. And I forgot how it ended. I don't even care how it ended. It was bad. Basically, this was a movie that we were all watching and laughing until eventually it started to weigh on us. Like, this is just depressingly bad now. Like, it's so funny bad that it loses all humor halfway through.
Oh my God.
And, yeah, I'm certain there will never be a good Doom movie. I mean, the same day this released on VOD, id Software tweeted out, "We had nothing to do with that movie."
Oh my God.
Verbatim. That's when you know, shit.
Oh, yeah.
And the funniest thing, end credits on Netflix when we saw it, every single member of cast and crew was Russian. This was a foreign outsourced production for no money that they sent here on like a broker fee.
My God.
So there was less passion in this movie than any of the latter Hellraisers. So this
Lord,
was...
that's saying something.
Yeah.
Man.
So, God help your soul if you see this. Super Mario Brothers is a better movie than this. So...
All right. Well, Sterling, we're reaching the end of the podcast. Do you still want to talk about the horror movies you're looking forward to this year for 2020? Or...
I only have 2. I'll just mention them.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about them, though.
Okay.
My main one I'm looking forward to would be Spiral.
Very different take on Saw.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to a continuation in a very cool and random way like this. This is kind of cool. And
plus, with Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson on board, it's like, what the fuck? That's a surprise.
I'm completely on board, and they'll do it they'll make it something fun. Okay. And at the same time, I just want something to kind of undo Jigsaw a bit.
Oh God,
That
yeah.
was a bit lame.
Yeah.
Um,
And then your second one?
so my second one is Psycho Ape.
What the fuck?
Psycho Ape. So, okay, Greg DeLizzo, who did Hectic Knife,
Yeah.
has teamed up with Kansas Bowling,
Okay.
and they are doing a psycho slasher ape movie. Where he goes on a rampage and kills, I guess. I don't really know the full synopsis. All I know is I backed it on Kickstarter like a motherfucker.
Okay.
And it is already done being shot, and he's editing it right now.
Okay.
Kansas is the main character next to the ape. And this is going to be awesome. This is a tour de force crossover
Okay.
of two geniuses making one of the greatest ape movies ever.
All right. I'll say there's about 2 horror movies I'm really looking forward to this year, and that is Candyman. The
Yes.
Candyman remake actually looks pretty good. I love how it's like a body horror film. This guy gets so obsessed with the Candyman legend that his body starts changing into Candyman.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, that's a cool take on the Candyman mythos. So it's a supernatural urban legend slasher movie meets a body horror film. So I'm all about that shit.
Imagine once he turns into Candyman,
Yeah.
his victim
Yeah.
is trapped, and he goes, "The bees come out."
Oh my god. Anyway, the other one I'm looking forward to is a festival hit from 2019 that's coming out in theaters this year called Vivarium. All I'll say is Vivarium is like a nightmarish Twilight Zone in suburbia movie, and the suburbia neighborhood never ends.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That
Like the
sounds cool.
characters go on the roof and every house looks exactly like theirs, and it just goes and goes and
That's
goes.
awesome.
Yeah.
I have to ask though.
Also, in the movie, they get a box with a baby in it, and it says "Raise this baby, and you might leave this hell."
Jesus Christ.
So it's almost like a fuck you.
Wow.
It's a fuck you to suburbia life, and it's a fuck you to child raising.
is that almost like saying raise this baby right and it'll support you someday?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Vivarium. So
Wow. Okay, I have to ask you though,
Yeah.
really quick. Is this going to be a concept that when you see it, you leave kind of depressed that you didn't think of it first? Because I know suburban
be.
horror is your thing.
yeah, suburban horror is my thing. This might be that maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
So. But anyway, yeah, that was our best of 2019, folks. Hope you all liked it. Hope you all watched and liked this one on YouTube. Since maybe how many listeners do we have? 3, maybe 3.
No, like 5.
5? You think 5?
Don't be hard on yourself.
Maybe 5. So to the 5 people who are listening to this and listen to the other previous episodes for Best of 18 and Best of 2017 and Best of 2016 on YouTube, and if you can find the old SoundCloud, thank you. Thank you for sticking with us, okay? And you know what? Like and comment in the comments down below and talk shit on us. We don't care.
Yeah, leave us a request of a horror movie to watch, and we'll do it.
Yeah, okay. All right, you guys
Just
have a
not
good
Doom
one.
Annihilation again.
Just no.
I will refuse.
Or hoax. Fuck that. All right, thank you guys. Anything? No?
I'll just say,
You guys?